Called me. Barry himself.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite well with him, and talked about a lot of things, and this and that. But I wanted to say, character.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
These are the most important things.
I'm sitting down.
And all of you are sparkers, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them, and you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now.
That's right. Call.
1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free.
Here we go. Make sure you subscribe.
Tell him Steve sent you.
Make sure you subscribe. Good morning, Connie.
South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888.
Yes. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right, live from 6 until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, and of course overnight rebroadcast midnight till 6 a.m. Today I'm sitting down, in our studio, our new studio where we can stand up. I'm sitting down on this bench, and it feels kind of strange to sit down on this bench. It's wood. It's comfortable. It's a wood chair, and I'm in front of the mic. I feel like I should have a guitar and be playing the guitar while I'm talking to you. I feel like I'm doing like some one-man guitar show on stage or something. Like I should be doing some, every rose has its thorns or something here while we're, I'm not going to sing. I promise you, you will never hear me sing. I want to keep people listening, not turn them away. All right, so much happening, so much going on. Welcome to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And man, do we got a lot to talk about on the radio this morning. Your calls certainly are welcome at 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, Fredo's brother, the Fredo brothers, the Cuomo brothers, are a couple of train wrecks. And, part of the reason is ego, grown up with platinum spoons in their mouths, never had to work for anything, everything's been handed to them. And they're so stupid, they don't realize it. They think they're hardworking guys of accomplishment. And when this crisis began, Fredo's brother, Governor Cuomo, he decided he was going to have daily press conferences live on TV. And I've been telling you this, these daily press conferences, he talks too much. He talks too much, Cuomo, Governor Cuomo. I mean, if you think about it, his press conferences, he might be on the air as much as his brother on CNN per day. The Cuomos might each have their own. They may be able to qualify as having two shows on CNN, the Cuomo brothers. And, of course, CNN loves to carry Governor Cuomo because they like to think of him as the president. And, I believe President Trump started attending the daily coronavirus press conferences because Cuomo was on TV every day. And Cuomo, in the beginning, the first day or two of Cuomo, in particular the first day, when I saw Cuomo, I'll tell you this right out the box because I'm always honest with you, he looked presidential to me. He sounded presidential, and I'm like, oh, goodness. This is it. This is the Democrats' nominee. I would rather have this senile, corrupt politician who doesn't know what century it is, which is not a joke, he doesn't. I've got some audio on that later on. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is all we need is this guy. This guy. And he's got the press sucking up to him. Oh, how is it being you, Governor Cuomo? These are what the questions were like. How do you go on each and every day, waking up in the morning and having to face saving New York? Well, those are the types of questions. Well, things have changed. Things have changed, and nursing home deaths are just god-awful. I mean, it's just, 20% of all coronavirus deaths have been related to to nursing homes from the coronavirus, and New York's been hit pretty hard. And the governor, Fredo's brother, Governor Cuomo, sent people back to nursing homes. And the nursing home disaster, which I don't want to make politics out of it. I really don't, because it's a tragedy. And here we are in Florida. Many people are in nursing homes. we have people listening to me right now that are in nursing homes because they're in bed listening to the radio, and and people in nursing homes have really been suffering through this because they're not able to see their families. And it's just been, we had a guy call the other day, his mother's in a nursing home and she can't even see her physical therapist. So the neglect that's going on in nursing homes because of coronavirus, the lack of contact, interaction, and even healthcare in many instances that people need, it's pretty bad. And then the death toll. So Cuomo's presidential dreams are slipping through his entitled fingers because of the nursing home crisis. People are pissed because mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and all of this. So Fredo's brother, Governor Cuomo, yesterday, I gotta play this because I didn't get this offline and put it in the computer. I'm gonna play this off of my iPad. And so I'm just going to put my iPad up to the microphone. If you're watching on YouTube, behind the scenes, you get a behind the scenes look at what I'm doing here. I'm just putting my iPad up to the microphone. This is Fredo's brother, the governor of New York, yesterday, blaming Trump for everything that's wrong in New York. See, live radio, people. Come on, play, come on.
This is a political season. I get it. I have refrained from politics. I'm not going to get into the political back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
But
as I do it.
Anyone who wants to ask why did the state do that with COVID patients in nursing home, it's because the state followed President Trump's CDC.
Did what Trump did. Oh, I see.
They should ask President Trump.
Oh, not you, the governor. Then what's the purpose of your press conference?
Are you fudging the numbers? Because that's an accusation that you're facing, that you are changing the numbers to make...
Well, let's go back. Let's do one at a time.
Okay.
Your first point, why did the state do that? Because the state followed President Trump's CDC's guidance.
Oh, okay. It's Trump's fault. I thought he was on TV saying, I formed my own confederacy of states. We have New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and California, and we're not opening because we're the governors and we do what we do. We know what's best. Now all of a sudden, passing the buck to President Trump. That's not going to fly because he was in defiance of President Trump and his recommendations and guidelines. He wouldn't even take a photograph with the president at the White House. So now all of a sudden, he's just a figurehead as the governor of New York. That ain't going to fly. Sorry. No more President Cuomo. We got to find someone else now. Everyone the Democrats have is so severely flawed. They're either morally corrupt, suffering from dementia, financially corrupt, politically corrupt. They don't have one person that's a decent person. But Governor Cuomo blaming Trump, that is not going to fly. And that soundbite it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Yeah, I know. When we have the November elections, it'll be very interesting how New York turns out. I'm not saying New York and California are going to go for Trump. But we very well may be able to flip some House seats in New York and California. We've already done the one, but we could easily flip some House seats that have been long-time Democrat seats over this. People are pissed. And the Democrats are the ones that are being blamed for everything. This scheme that the Democrats came up with to wreck the economy and have President Trump blamed for it, it's another one. Every one of their schemes, Stormy Daniels, the impeachment, the Mueller investigation, everything, every scam, every scheme they run against President Trump always backfires on them, but this one's the worst. This one is the worst. You look at the map of the country that is reopened with just some minor restrictions, and they're all Republican states. And then you see, there's color-coded maps all over, and then you see the maps where they're open with major restrictions. They're all Democrat towns, like Michigan. So, yeah, I know. And did you guys catch Kayleigh McEnany yesterday? I can't sit down. I'm going to move this chair. I can't do that. I got to stand. I got to be me. I got to stand up. I don't like sitting in the chair. I'll sit down and rest during the break. I just can't. I don't know. I feel weird sitting down without the guitar strumming. Just seems a little strange to me. But, yeah, that's not going to fly with Governor Cuomo. He is in big trouble, people. Big trouble. And, when you watch that footage of Cuomo, and that clip will be playing a lot, at least on Fox News Channel today, he looks scared to me. He looked scared. He didn't look like his normal, arrogant, self-inflated ego self. He looked white. He looked panicked. He looked terrified. And a bunch of words meaning the same thing, but he did, didn't he, Cuomo? He did not look like a happy camper, a happy governor. He looked like, oh, I was on top of the world. You know, I've been telling you for weeks, Cuomo's press conferences will be the end of him. He has too many of them, and he talks too much. And he goes on these bizarre, strange ramblings that make no sense. And he can't leave because he's so in love with the crowd and being on national television. He loves the idea of holding court. And he just can't get himself to leave. Well, I'm glad he had those press conferences every day. I imagine there'll be a move for Cuomo to start phasing out the press conferences from this point forward, because they are serving no positive purpose for the man. Oh, man, I tell you. Oh, boy. Well, you know, here we are today. What is today? What's today's date? Let me double check the date. Oh, my goodness, it's the 21st. Oh, man. We're about a week and a half away from the start of hurricane season, which is the 1st of June. And you want to make sure that you and your home are prepared. And the best way to prepare for a hurricane is to make sure that you have the proper coverage for your home, your condo, or your business in case a hurricane strikes. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors. Have her review your homeowner's policy. First, she'll make sure you're not paying too much. Your homeowner's insurance policy goes up each and every year. And most people have their homeowner's insurance policy tied to their mortgage. And your mortgage stays about the same every year, right? Your mortgage, typically on most mortgages, the payments, the payment just for the mortgage itself goes down year after year because you're paying more of that premium of the mortgage off. But because the homeowner's insurance policy creeps up every year, it seems to creep up at about the same rate that the mortgage lowers, so the mortgage seems to stay the same every year. People don't realize this. Yeah, Debbie at I Will Advisors and her team will review your homeowner's policy to make sure you are not paying too much. And make sure that you have the hurricane coverage you want and you need. And what I mean by that is make sure that everything you want covered is covered in case a hurricane hits. I'm telling you, people, I have great hurricane coverage because I I do that too. I review it every year with Debbie and I Will Advisors. It costs you nothing to have her review your policy. And go through the list. Say, hey, Debbie, is this covered? Is that covered? Go through your list. That's what I do, and I recommend that everyone does that. And you know what? Debbie and her team over there, they love doing this. They don't mind. They love helping people. Their number, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. If you are an overnight listener or here early in the morning, you can call right now and leave a message. They will call you back during business hours. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, I got used to seeing the clock over there, and I got concerned for you because.
Oh yes, I moved it over there yesterday. I'll move it back when Steve gets here. I need to bring another clock to put on the board. I just keep forgetting.
That's right, Brian. Hey guys, this is Brian's wife, Kathy, and this is the best.
You know, there's a digital one next door. I need to get one like that here.
Everything slows down after like 2 weeks.
The batteries, yeah. Yeah, there's a clock here, but it doesn't. I put new batteries in it, but it's broken.
That's the one you bought?
No, it was here. It used to be on that wall. I took it down because it was distracting, but I put batteries in it.
BOGO deals. They're the
And it's
best.
still
And you
no
can
good.
take advantage
No
of
good.
so many right now at mypillow.com.
There's a lot of other deals too. Again, go to mypillow.com, click on that radio listener link, and you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to get these incredible deals. So go right now to mypillow.com, click the radio listener special. Make sure to use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to take advantage of all of the great deals. You can also order by phone, 1-800 1-800-716-4879. Make sure to use the promo code CANE.
Yeah, we're a clock short.
1-800-716-4879.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for www.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. So this is out of the New York Post. Governor Cuomo. Big trouble for Governor Cuomo. Big trouble. Passing the buck. This is what the New York Post writes. First, Governor Andrew Cuomo, that's Fredo's brother, blamed nursing homes for a widely criticized directive from his health department, barring the facilities from turning away coronavirus-positive people. Now he's pawning it off on the White House. Critics should ask President Trump about it, the governor said Wednesday, arguing that the federal government actually cooked up the mandate and that New York was just following Washington's lead. Why did the state do this, he says? Because we followed President Trump's CDC guidelines. Despite frequently jousting with the president throughout the pandemic, this is New York Post, Cuomo betrayed no regrets on adopting that March 25th directive, even with well over 5,000 confirmed or suspected coronavirus deaths now reported in nursing homes. You have to remember the facts, the governor said. The CDC guidance said a nursing home cannot discriminate against a COVID patient. But the directive was also motivated by a desire to keep hospital beds free by shifting those with minor infections elsewhere. Cuomo continued, even if that meant putting them in nursing homes among some of the most susceptible to the disease. So, this is it. I mean, he did it. He's the governor. He's the president of the new Confederacy up there, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, with an alliance with California, and he did it. And I'm not doing it as in a political way. What happened in New York, you're going to find that the decisions he made on his own were the ones that caused the most sickness, including shutting people up in the apartment buildings, where they're in very close confined spaces in lobbies, sharing elevators, tiny hallways, crammed into small apartments all day long with people. You're going to find that every decision Cuomo mandated himself was the wrong decision. Hold on, I got a little buzz here. Hold on, I might hear some noise on the air. Hold on, people, I'm fixing something. Don't know why it's doing that. I got to check that out. I don't know, I get a little buzz in my earphones. I don't know if that's going on the air or not. I can't quite tell. But yeah, he's done. And this will never go away. This will never go away. Meanwhile, in Florida, we have an incredible governor in the state of Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is just did you see Ron DeSantis yesterday with the they've got this story, which I'll go through in some details, about this girl who was fired that was involved with the online platform monitoring coronavirus in the state of Florida. Oh, wait till you hear the truth about her. But the press was predicting that Florida was going to be the next New York, the next Italy, and predicted that we would need 400,000 hospital beds. We're predicting these huge numbers. And Florida, we're opened up for business, baby, and really we've been opened up for the most part. The only thing you cannot do in Florida right now is go bowling or to the movies, right? You cannot go bowling or to the movies. Most everything else you can do, which is pretty good. And we'll be in the phase 3, which is the final phase, real soon. DeSantis wants to have everything open up 100%, but he's going, he's going through the motions. So yesterday, our great governor, Ron DeSantis, was with Pence and did a very good imitation of President Trump, Ron DeSantis did with the press. Did any of you catch this? Oh, this was great. This is Ron DeSantis yesterday with the fake news media. He was standing next to Pence.
Our data is available. Our data is transparent. In fact, Dr. Birx has
talked multiple times about how Florida has the absolute best data. So any insinuation otherwise is just typical partisan narrative trying to be spun. And part of the reason is that because you got a lot of people in your profession who waxed poetically for weeks and weeks about how Florida was going to be just like New York. Wait 2 weeks, Florida's going to be next. Just like Italy, wait 2 weeks. Well, hell, we're 8 weeks away from that, and it hasn't happened. Not only do we have a lower death rate, well, we have way lower deaths generally. We have a lower death rate than the Acela, DC, everyone up there. We have a lower death rate than the Midwest, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. But even in our region, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida has the lower death rate. And I was the #1 landing spot from tens of thousands of people leaving the #1 hot zone in the world.
New York.
To my state. So we succeeded, and I think that people just don't want to recognize it because it challenges their narrative, it challenges their assumption, so they got to try to find a boogeyman. Maybe it's that there are black helicopters circling the Department of Health. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you.
Yeah, after it's sanitized, though, Governor. We don't want that Brooklyn Bridge till it's sanitized. I mean, that was just great yesterday. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I mean, he took on the media, and if you watch it, his body language, and you didn't hear a lot of follow-up to that. They're afraid of DeSantis. Haven't I not been telling you, Governor DeSantis is the new celebrity apprentice, that the president is grooming him to either be president or vice president? I've been telling you this since, I think even when he was running, before he won the election. He is awesome. And they had this story about this woman who was fired, okay, who was, they say she was a scientist. She was working on the online coronavirus, COVID-19 online platform that monitored everything, and they're saying that she was fired because she would not put up inaccurate information. Some updates on this. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis launched an angry attack at the data scientist who said she was fired for refusing to fudge public coronavirus numbers here in Florida. Governor DeSantis said geospatial scientist Rebecca Jones was insubordinate, and revenge porn charges against her mean she should not have been hired. This is a woman who's doing revenge porn on a man? Usually revenge porn is when the boyfriend has stuff on the woman. Speaking alongside Vice President Mike Pence, he was talking about revenge porn next to... I bet you Pence doesn't even know what revenge porn is. Oh, my goodness. Speaking alongside Vice President Mike Pence, Governor Ron DeSantis said, our data is available, our data is transparent. So any insinuation otherwise is just typical partisan narrative trying to be spun, which is that clip I just played. Jones, this is the woman they've been promoting as being unjustly fired, designed Florida's comprehensive COVID-19 dashboard. She said Tuesday she had been fired for refusing to manually change data to drum up support for the plan to reopen. She revealed that for reasons beyond my division's control, she had been removed, not voluntarily, as manager of Florida's interactive informational site. In an email to CBS News 12, a local news station here, Jones, who led a team of Florida Department of Health scientists and public health officers, said she was ordered to censor some data that would support reopening the state, and she refused. Sounds like she's applying for a job working for a Democrat. But Governor Ron DeSantis said this, quote, she is not an epidemiologist. She is not the chief architect of our web portal. That is another false statement. And what she was doing was she was putting data on the portal which scientists didn't believe was valid data. So she was cooking the data. Referencing her charges for stalking an ex, Governor DeSantis said, come to find out she's also under active criminal charges. I have zero tolerance for sexual harassment, so her supervisor dismissed her because of a lot of those reasons, and it was a totally valid way. But she should have been dismissed long before that. Where's the part about the revenge porn? Let me see if there's anything here, but I'm curious about the revenge porn. They're talking about the dash. Who cares about the dashboard? I want to hear about the revenge porn. Nothing else on the revenge porn. If anybody has it, send it to me. DM it to me on the Twitter, and I'll read it. I'm curious about... I've never heard of a woman involved in revenge porn. Usually the women are the victims in revenge porn. Oh, boy. All right, 1-888 cocaine 1. This is all that winning that President Trump was talking. You're going to get tired of winning. We're never going to get tired of winning. And you know, everyone should feel great. Every state in America is reopening for business. We've gotten through this global pandemic. It's been a rough year, and we've gotten through the Democrat scheme to exploit the pandemic to try to tank the economy. This has just been, we're out of it now. I feel like, the only thing I haven't done yet is buy new shoes, because the shoe stores have been closed since the malls have been closed, and my Vans each have a hole in the toe. Each one, the right foot, the left foot, each has a hole in it. And I just, I don't know, is the Van store open up at the mall yet? Oh, man. All right, let's take some calls. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I'll show you guys on YouTube. Yeah, my shoes, actually, I have holes in them. You can see right in the toe area. I got these Vans right before the cruise in November, and Vans usually last me 4 to 6 months, and then I get that hole in the toe. I need to get some new shoes. 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, John from West Palm. Hey, listen, there's something wrong with your radio there. It's replaying you like 3 different times on the air at the same time.
What do you mean? There's 3 different things playing? Really? What do you mean? Like, oh, really? Like there's audio, there's tape. I'll listen. I'll go to a break and listen. I appreciate the heads up. All right, let me take the break a minute early. If you're on hold, stand by. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton.
Brian, hey, how you doing? We're playing you like 3 different times on the air at the
That's
same
fine.
time.
What do you mean? There's 3 different things playing?
Yeah, it sounds like there's 3 different Brian Craigs there.
Guy's full of crap. Everything's fine. He's a lie. He's a troll. I put it on 2 of the stations. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I just tried the FM also.
This is the AM.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work.
Yeah. That's okay.
39 miles, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Each way. Okay? The man sat and worked on my tube.
Troll. He's a liar.
Put a pen in it. Put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I could eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception.
It was time for a break anyway.
In New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line?
Dr. Gupta.
Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay. And if
That's why I always keep a radio. I've got a radio back here.
Wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you, Steve Kane listeners.
Well, you got to check out the technical stuff.
Dr. Gupta, and he's over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is this tough show, and I'm going down to him.
Make sure you guys subscribe.
Put in, but right now,
oh yeah,
I any pain, I can eat anything I want.
You got to keep a radio in the studio.
Advice and go see
a lot of people don't.
At Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney
it's a
Barry
boombox.
Siegel
It's old
at
one.
the Siegel Law Group
it even has a
and
cassette
find
deck
out
in it.
what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, everything was fine on the radio. That last caller is either a troll or he didn't have his radio tuned in properly. Because I went to break and I checked on our AM 1470. I checked on one of the FM stations. Everything's fine. There's no overplaying or different things playing or anything else. Just a troll. But hey, it was time for a break anyway. So if I would have taken calls and talked to him, I would have been late for the break. So we took the break on time, which is a rarity. It's 33 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. You know, this thing with the nursing home deaths, though, with Cuomo, be careful. Don't do what the left do. Do not make this political. Although, I mean, in the end, it'll be political, but don't sound partisan, because it's a tragedy what happened and what's happened in the nursing homes. You know, and again, I know we have a lot of nursing home listeners. I know we have a lot of people with family in nursing homes listening. This is Florida, and even those of you in other parts of the country that are watching us online or listening online, come on, it's not something to make politics about. These are people that have died. But there's something to be said about incompetence of the left. Democrats are incompetent. You know, and Democrats, if you look at every place in this country where things are well, Republicans. Where things are the worst, Democrats. Why is that? It's not just the Democrats in power, it's the Democrat voters. You know, we saw this after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. You know, I talk a lot about hurricane season when I talk about Debbie from I Will Advisors and call over there and renew your hurricane policy. You know, and I do a lot of hurricane prep. And it starts months early. I did it a little earlier this year because of the coronavirus, but I have cases and cases of bottled water. I have a generator. In fact, I'm going to take the generator out of the garage sometime this week and just fire it up again. I do that every once in a while. I've got gas cans, 5-gallon drums that I'll fill up with gas when it's coming. We load up with a lot of food that can be easily eaten. You know, if you know, I prepare for a hurricane. I've got the hurricane shutters. I've got everything. And you know, and in Florida, that's what people do. This is a Republican state, and it spreads to coronavirus. In Democrat states, Democrats are always waiting for the government to come and help them. In fact, if you look, Hurricane Katrina is the textbook example of this that I use. You know, when Hurricane Katrina hit, and there was, and this tragedy was at the Superdome, and the people on the interstate and everything outside of New Orleans, they were waiting for the government to come and rescue them before the storm, during the storm, after the storm. In Florida, we don't expect that. In Florida, when we see hurricanes come down Hurricane Alley, we're at the gas stations filling up our car. We're doing all this stuff, right? Yeah. You know, we load up on our supplies, and in New Orleans, they're waiting for the government. Same thing applies to coronavirus. The reason Florida and other conservative states have done well during this pandemic is because conservatives take care of themselves, where Democrats wait for a government solution. And I know that sounds academic, and maybe it is academic in a way sounding, but it's true. It's true. And Florida has gotten out of the situation it was in faster than most any place. It's like Georgia, because conservatives are taking care of business and being responsible, not waiting for the guy. Just like yesterday, I played that clip, that idiot CBS White House correspondent. You've not announced your plan, why not, President Trump, to get people back to work? And he says, I have, reopening America. That's my plan, to get people back to work. And what she was talking about is a typical Democrat thought, is where is the $8 billion government program to get people back to work, right? And where's the committee of governors that are going to discuss how they're going to get people back to work? You know, no, just open up the country and people will do it. So that's a large reason, too, why Democrat communities are not doing well. Democrats, people, don't take care of themselves. They wait for the government to do it. And you see it time and time again. All right, our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KAME-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. All right, good morning. Oh, okay. Maybe we were going to high power or something. Sometimes when we go to 50,000 watts, something could happen. Who knows? Well, everything's fine now.
West Palm, I can't reach.
iHeartRadio? Oh, FM Money Talk. Oh, okay. You can use that website too. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to listen. Yeah, I know. We're on so many platforms. This show is on more platforms and things than I even can keep track of. Shame on you. Oh, yeah. Oh, and you're back now. You were a long-time listener. You stopped and you came back. Well, at least you came back home. Ah. Oh, yeah. Well, the best way to listen to the show, if you're outside of the range of our radio stations, is download the iHeartRadio app on your phone and search for us by our station call letters, WWNN, 2 W's, 2 N's. Yeah, 2 W's, 2 N's. All right, take care, man. Take care. All right. So he's not a troll. He's a cop. He's the Belglade cop. Remember the cop from Belglade? Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's so... I'm so lucky to be here with you today after traveling to Belglade on Saturday, I must say. Yeah. All right, so anyway, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, that's our number, and things are going well. I mean, come on. Things are going so well. Everything is open. How many of you out there have been doing what I suggested, and that's double up your tips, by the way, for waiters, waitresses, and your hairstylist? I hope you're doing that. I doubled my tip when I got a haircut last week. I did. They've been out of work for a long time. They could use the money. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. Hey, Richie.
I listened to you on the radio today, but sometimes I got it close. Sometimes what's happened, and I noticed it too, you repeat. It like comes to the end and you repeat what you just said again. Too, on YouTube, I don't get this.
Oh.
On iHeartRadio and other stations, I get repeating.
Oh, okay. And I'm not purposely doing that? I'm not saying it twice?
No, it's repeat. No.
Like that?
You feel it? No.
No, okay. Very strange. I have no idea what that's about. That's weird.
I don't either. They're you know, this big thing now is that they're attacking the Republicans for not getting the money out there, this new bill out, and Mitch McConnell. But I want to answer your question. What the heck does bailing out, and my father was a letter carrier, and the last time I went to the post office, the guy was real snotty, okay?
Yeah, they're jerks.
Yeah, what the heck do we have to do with bailing out the post office in this bill? I mean, they have got all these little gifts in there, and
wait, the post office is getting bailed out? Why are they being bailed out? I mean, what's their problem?
Well, it has no relation to Corona.
I'll tell you this, when it comes to the Postal Service, at least 99% of my mail is junk mail. 99%, I'm not kidding. I get 1 or 2 things a month that I need through mail. But 99% is junk mail. And really, the Postal Service, they should, I wouldn't phase out the United States Postal Service, don't misunderstand me, but it could be greatly reduced in size, and they really should do it over, have like a 5 or 10 year plan to reduce the post office to maybe 10% of its current size, because I think that's probably all it needs. And I'll tell you, it could start by only having mail delivery 3-4 days a week.
Yeah, that's true. You know, most people, listen, my age group, you can see it in my post office where we are. All the old people go to the post office because they don't know how to email. Everything has changed, but yet the post office has...
Sometimes I have to mail a package and I'll go to the post office or something. And I get one thing every month that comes in the mail that I can't do electronically, that has to actually be physical mail. One piece of mail a month. Isn't that crazy? That's good, that I need, and it's just, it's just, but other than but why is the post office being bailed out? Why are they in trouble?
They're always in trouble. That's why they increased the price of stamps. They just can't. They have too many employees. You hit it right on the head. Too many. It's overloaded for what used to be, and they haven't curbed it at all. And the fact is that it has nothing to do with Corona. And yet this is part of it. There's other things in this money situation. If you went through this, you would laugh. I'll give you a little assignment. It's not telling you what.
Nah, I have no time for assignments, Richie. You can just tell me.
Yeah, you go on the radio. You can start asking people, what does this have to do with Corona? Because post office is only one of them. But
well, I remember when in 2008 when George W. Bush did the bank bailout, and a list came out of the earmarks, and they were so absurd. The one I remember off the top of my head, one of the earmarks. Now, keep in mind, they were telling us the American economy was about to collapse, right, in that '08 bank bailout. And one of the earmarks was $250,000 to a factory that made toy bow and arrows. And these are all campaign donations. It's like a money laundering operation. You donate the maximum amount allowed by law, and the congressman will give it back to you many times over in the form of earmarks when they get bills passed. And because Trump he's not an earmark kind of guy, and he's at such odds with the House leadership, they haven't been able to get earmarks through like they normally would. So when there's a crisis like this, they pile them on to sneak them through.
just don't have the money. And then you talked about Cuomo, okay, with the nursing home, President Trump. I was watching a couple of days ago. There's a lady in charge of the health in Pennsylvania, and she took her mother out of a nursing home and mandated these people to go into the nursing home. And a lot of people in Pennsylvania died also, but she pulled her own mother out. You talk about hypocritical. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, and it's just like the governor of Michigan said you can't go to your weekend home, but then she's at hers. I was seeing in the news today. I guess everyone in Michigan has a weekend home. I have one home. It's my weekday, my weekend, it's my winter home, it's my summer home, it's my fall home. And all these Democrats, like Bernie Sanders, they have weekend homes and summer cottages and summer camps. I don't know. I summer the same place I winter and fall and spring and everything. I don't know about you. But
Mayor Blasio of New York told everyone to lock themselves in their house. And he was caught in Central Park with his wife.
And other places too. And other places as well. Now, what they're going to find out when this is done is the lockdowns made people sick and got people killed, died because of the lockdowns. Being in such close quarters was not a good thing, especially in these buildings where they're still sharing elevators and small hallways. These buildings in New York, most of them are rather small. Even the big ones, the elevators is a closed-in area. You're in the elevator together. You're in the hallway together. You're in the lobby together. They're close quarters in these apartment buildings. It's not like here in Florida where we're a suburban community.
Yeah, well, with Cuomo yesterday, I learned something with the news conference. I mean, you can't knock it. I mean, you really learn a lot with these virus news conferences of Cuomo. I learned yesterday that his daughter's boyfriend took off on her, and he said, if she returns, that it's meant to be.
What? Say this again. Wait a minute. Governor Cuomo's daughter's boyfriend walked out on the daughter?
Yeah, well, she happens to be on his next to him when he gives these conferences. She's part of the deal now.
Yeah.
He comes out and told everyone that she's a little upset because her boyfriend left her.
How embarrassing! Yeah.
I mean, who cares? This is.
Yeah, he reveals a lot during these press conferences. He rambles a lot.
Oh, he's an arrogant to draw these things out. I mean, people got to start looking at this and say, this guy's a total fool. And let me tell you, a lot of people hate New Yorkers because they are arrogant, and he is the ultimate.
Well, I really like this. The governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, still has a ban on New Yorkers, and it's too bad they didn't bring that ban in like 35 years ago on New Yorkers into Florida. You know what I mean? Because we wouldn't have any Democrats here to speak of. Maybe we should keep it permanent, a permanent ban on New Yorkers entering Florida.
A Democrat is disease, and poor Texas, they don't want any more Democrats coming in from California.
Yeah.
The disease takes over. They're going to vote for a Democrat.
Yeah, they're going to try to turn Texas blue by, the worst. You know what's most annoying about New Yorkers in Florida? is they love to tell you how much better everything is in New York. You could be, I mean, I have been out at a restaurant getting a hamburger, and out here in the hamburgers in New York are so much better than Florida. You know what I'm talking about? Everything's better then why the hell are you here, not New York?
Yeah, the pizza they said is the best in the world.
Oh, you can't get a pie like you get in New. Well, then why are you here? You know, I mean, I'm not from Florida. I'm not a native Floridian. You don't hear me talking about how much better things are in Columbus, Ohio. I love Florida, you know.
Yeah, tell me something. How can you leave the state and you say taxes are too high, and then you go and you vote for a Democrat here? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Taxes are too high. How do you vote for a Democrat?
And I'll tell you that, yeah, somebody in the chat room, Chicago deep style pizza is much better than New York pizza, by the way. And
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And, you know, I think that the two most disgusting things Cuomo has done, other than the loss of liberty of New Yorkers, is the first one, of course, is sending people to the nursing homes. Okay, that's the word. Second, the disgusting move he made to tax the frontline healthcare workers that left their lives behind and traveled to New York to help New York during this crisis, and he's taxing them. He can't give. Has he pulled back on that yet? What a jerk.
Yeah, but he also with the subways and the buses, he did that and caused a lot of problems. But the biggest thing of all, he didn't break New York into little sections. Like DeSantis, each county.
Yeah.
He had kept one. New York City is a disease-infected place, and Long Island. But the rest of upstate New York, he used the same crap with them.
Well, New York is always disease-infested, Pitt, even though it looks clean on the surface. You ever see those news stories where they go through New York at night and you see the rats in the windows of every place and everything?
So you should go down by the river. When I was a kid, trust me when I tell you, the East River, which is part of the Harlem River, used to go down there, and I used to see rats bigger than cats all over the place.
Oh, yeah, I'm terrified of rats. That's why I don't live on a lake. You know, a lot of people in Florida live on a lake, and people are all, why did you live on a lake? Why did you? Because the water brings rodents. You know, I'm terrified of rodents. Terrified.
There's also, we've had a couple in my backyard.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that video I put online of that alligator nest I found in Pahokee over the weekend? Oh, I'll put it on my Twitter. Oh, my goodness.
Here last week about a 6-footer in somebody's driveway.
Well, you know, it's what I found out. I was up at I was standing on the edge of Lake Okeechobee, and this woman came up to me and she told me, I just saw 2 8-foot alligators right behind you. And she says, are you from Florida? And I said, yeah. And she says, oh, okay. She thought if I was a tourist, I don't know how to handle myself around gators, you know. And it's mating season. So alligators are typically passive, but it's gator mating season, and right now they'll snatch you. And I saw some gators. I found a whole nest of gators. One of them was about 12 feet long. Scared the living daylights out of me, man. All right, take care, Richie. Oh, my goodness, look how late it is. Got to take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of 2 magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. How many years have you owned this business?
I've been in the hardware business for over 40 years, Steve.
If I have a home project that I'm doing, there are so many around the house, that's the big thing today. What's the difference of my experience if I go to Ace Hardware as opposed to these major impersonal chain stores?
Oh, there's a huge difference. The basic difference is customer service. We're an old-time fashion hardware store. We have experienced people that are working our stores. Our employees are just top-notch. They're very experienced. They know their business. When you're doing a project, you can come into the store and you can get somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that will like to work with you, to find you the right project, the right pieces, the first time, so you can get in and out with the right material.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but but there are only two
Steve Kane Show.
advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking
Hey.
about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
The science behind the aging process is exploding. We have come to a point where we can
Oh man, it is beautiful out today.
improve the health and function of our cells. Healthy cells means healthy tissue, means healthy organs, means a healthy body.
It is a nice looking day out.
Do better and live longer. That's right, folks. I said it. Live longer.
I'm going to try to go to Disney World this weekend. I'm kind of busy. I don't know if I can.
With simple, safe, and effective therapies such as peptides, we can significantly improve the function and health of your cells, and therefore we are improving your health from the ground up. Sleep better, lose weight, build muscle, have energy, have sex, be in a good mood. If feeling good and looking good sounds good to you, call me, Dr. Mitchell Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490.
Hey, Neil.
Or visit our website at hormonetherapybocaraton.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, Ireland is beautiful. One day I'll come visit again. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Steve will be back with us in studio today. Oh, boy, it is a beautiful day. Oh, man. All right, let's go to Mike in Boca. Mike in Boca, you're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
All right.
I don't know if you read last night, but late afternoon yesterday, the city of Fort Lauderdale, the city officials went against the mayor, and they
Steve Kane Show.
the gyms are shut down again in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, come on. Really, they shut the gyms down?
Some kind of internal rift. I guess him and his friend didn't have enough pull.
Well, redbroward.com, that conservative news site here in Broward County, they had a story on the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. It's right there at the top this morning. And the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trentalis, he's been a figure in Fort Lauderdale, Broward politics for many years. He's a pretty well-known name. I don't know him, and I don't really follow local politics, but Red Broward has an embarrassing little thing with the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. He was celebrating the opening of retail in the city of Fort Lauderdale by putting a photograph of himself online inside of a business. The business is in Wilton Manors, which is another city. It was a city he was... And Red Broward said, could you imagine the mayor of Miami celebrating the opening of retail by putting a picture online at the Galleria Mall in Fort Lauderdale? It's a little embarrassing. That turn signal's driving me nuts, though. I can hear your turn signal clicking. It's driving me nuts. It's like,
Must be an internal rift or some sort.
Well, this is the thing with the... Yeah.
It's not his idea. He did not want to do it. He was 100% against it.
Well, let me tell you something. Of all the businesses that are in trouble in America, gyms are probably in the biggest amount of trouble because I drive around all over the place. I do all of this, and people, especially the workout fanatics, you see them walking and jogging and out on the sidewalks and the streets, and they're realizing, and they still are in shape, they're realizing that they can stay in shape without paying the monthly membership fee. And gyms make a profit based on people getting memberships that they never use anyway. And the gym industry nationwide is going to be one that probably has more shutdowns for the percentage of them than almost any other business. Because why pay a monthly membership fee for what you've been doing for 2 or 3 months for free? And it's...
Some of these gyms, I mean, you go in there, it's like monsters. It's huge. It costs a lot of money to keep that place going.
Well, then none of them are paying the rents. I'm sure none of these businesses have been paying the rents for the last few months. But what they've had to do is stop charging people the monthly membership fees. And they can't restart that until they reopen, and people are going to cancel. I'm telling you, gyms are going to be very hard hit. And this thing in Fort Lauderdale, with not opening up the gyms, I mean, I've seen some photographs online of gyms around the country and quite a few locally. And the local gyms have spaced out their equipment and everything. Yeah.
The mom and pops are gonna stick around with these big companies, these big corporations. They're gonna take one heck of a beating.
Well, it's like I was talking the other day. I'm not sure in our community who the local officials are, but it used to be business people, local business people would become city councilmen and mayors and things like this. And now it seems like they're more activist than they are local business people. Like it used to be in the old days, a guy would own a car dealership or an insurance agency or something, and then he'd run for city council. It seems to be more activist these days, at least in the Democrat towns, and they don't have a business mindset, and they just don't seem to give a damn. And a gym makes money beyond just the owner of the gym. You've got personal trainers, you've got and a lot of gyms have like little restaurants near them. They cater to a gym. There's a lot of trickle down from a gym, and Democrats are tyrants. They're tyrants. All right, appreciate the call, Mike and Boca. I saw in South Korea, high school seniors are going back to work. Are going back to school, I should say, not back to work. And I'm getting like Joe Biden. I'm misspeaking and slipping. In South Korea, high school seniors are going back to school. And I saw some photographs online of what they've done in South Korea. And it's really interesting what they've done for the social distancing. And because a lot of people, and they have at the desks these plexiglass clear panels that have a front and two sides, three-sided panels attached to the standard school desks that they'll be behind. So they'll maintain the social distancing. I thought that was pretty sharp. I don't know what's going to go on with. Luckily, I don't have a daughter in the public schools anymore. My daughter's 21 years old, so things in college are a little different. But I'm the only problem I see in our entire society are the schools, because kids, they're just not responsible enough to do what it is they've got to do. But other than the schools, everything else should be open for business, pretty much 100%. All right, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 hour down, 2 to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
From the
be right back, guys.
Siegel
Subscribe.
Law Group, my good friend Barry Siegel. Barry, how are you doing today?
Steve, good morning. I'm having a great morning. How are you?
I'm having a great morning and looking forward to our breakfast next week.
Me too, Steve. I always look forward to seeing you. Today I want to talk about a area of your overall estate plan that doesn't necessarily have to deal with your assets. It has to do with important decisions that need to be made during your lifetime, and that deals with your health care documents. That's part of a good estate plan. And there are 3 essential health care documents that are part of a great estate plan. One is your health care surrogate designation, which allows you to name those who you give the responsibility of making important medical decisions for you if you don't have the capacity to do so yourself. Those decisions could include end-of-life decisions such as pulling the plug. The second document is the living will, which is the document, think of it as a memo to your healthcare decision maker as to whether you want to have your plug pulled or not. So if you don't have your mental capacity and you're either have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or a persistent...
Welcome back, everyone. Make sure you subscribe, all right?
...had over that Clearwater case many years ago, then it says you either want the machines keeping you alive, helping you breathe, and the feeding tube and the water tube, or you want those things removed. And then the one that most people don't know about is the HIPAA authorization, and that's so important. The HIPAA, that stands for Health Information Portability and Accountability Act. That came into law in 2003. And so now when you go to the doctor, they want you to sign off that you read their HIPAA policy, and essentially that says that they can share your medical information with other medical providers, but not with anyone else. But with your HIPAA document in your estate planning, it says to the medical provider not to share your medical information with anyone except for the people you list on that document, such as your spouse or your brother, your sister, your parents, your children, or friends. Whoever you name, they can access your medical information, your records, and speak to the medical providers. Without that, they're trained not to give out that information, and that could be a disaster. So those are the three important healthcare documents that are part of an overall estate plan.
All right, there you have it. If you want to make an appointment with Attorney Barry Siegel, you're going to find him a delight to deal with, very knowledgeable, and he can help you solve those problems that are, for some people, very difficult to solve. Call to make that appointment, 1-855, that's toll free, by the way, 1-855-FLA 3782. Barry, good talking to you. We'll speak soon, all right?
Okay, Steve.
Take care. All right.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-GAIN-1.
All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. Hour number 2 has begun. It's 4 minutes after 7. It is Thursday morning. Oh, man, I tell you. Yeah, I was just reading this story during the break at CNN's website about Fauci. Fauci has stopped doing television interviews on top of not doing the press conferences. And it's very interesting. He has been completely sidelined by Trump, taken off of because he was a negative. He was a negative. Fauci, you know, the thing with Fauci, and I know there's all these conspiracy theories with Fauci, but usually the simplest answer is the right answer. And with Fauci, you know, of course he's connected to all these people. He's had that same job for 35 years and things like that. I understand. You know, and I've seen all the photographs of him with Pelosi and all the other creeps. But the thing with Fauci isn't as conspiratorial, I think, as people think about him not wanting to reopen the economy. I think with Fauci, it's more of an ego. You know, Fauci, how many of you had ever heard of Fauci before this? He's run this organization for 35 years. I've never heard of the man, and I've never seen him before. I'm not to say that he hasn't been in the news. I'm sure he has been in the news. And he's very well connected. He told Chris Cuomo that he's known him since he was a kid. But he has not done an interview really since March 4th. And I think the last one was on Cuomo. And he enjoyed the daily press conferences like Governor Cuomo does. He enjoyed the daily meetings with the president in the Oval Office and being a part of everything and people hanging on his every word. And the press conference with Fauci, where I was done with Fauci, was he was talking about how he was out walking the sidewalks of D.C. with his wife and was noticing how people were in line waiting for takeout at a restaurant in D.C. and they were social distancing. And he was so excited about that. And to me, it was him, he was pointing to it and showing his way. Look what I've done. I have all of America doing what I say. There's social distancing because I said to. He felt, yeah, a little Napoleon there, a little Napoleon syndrome. This is the highlight of his life, the high point of his career, and he did not want it to end. Now, a lot of people, I must tell you, I have gotten away from the national news. I've been watching my local news a lot more than the national news. I get the headlines. I follow everything online. I'm still informed. Don't worry. But the news, there's also another thing with the mainstream media. They hate Trump and they want Trump to look bad. But there's more, them continuing to harp on negative news, don't misunderstand me, they still hate Trump. And they want to do Trump's presidency and in the election and have, they'd rather have this guy that doesn't know what century it is, Biden. By the way, Biden doesn't know what century it is. This is Biden yesterday.
The idea that you go through the 20th century with just 12 years of education of the 21st century.
Yeah, we're 2 decades into the 21st century, Biden. Remember Y2K and all that stuff? Oh my goodness. The 20th century. Could you imagine if there was a candidate in 1920 who was talking about, we can't get through the 19th century? Oh my goodness. But a lot of what's going on with the media is this is an easy thing. I've explained this to people, and when you're in the news business, which we kind of are here on the Steve Kane Show. We're not news people, but we talk about the news, okay? And I'll give you a couple of examples to illustrate what I'm talking about. You know, a lot of times things become a crutch for people that are in the news business or broadcasters. And I'll give you two examples. One involving Steve and me, and one involving someone else. And these are the two best examples. A lot of you may remember years ago when Steve was battling the Glisten gay activist in Broward County. Remember those days? And the Steve Kane Show, we were getting a lot of national attention. Steve was on CNN in studio twice in one day at one point, you know, and it was pretty exciting stuff, you know, prime time, midday. We had TV crews, national crews, you know, they were coming to Steve's house. Remember all that stuff? And he was battling the gay activist. And we were talking about a lot of things involving gay activism on the air at the time. And Steve had said, we got to be careful, you know, because we've had this run with this. When you go through the news, your eyes will gravitate towards those stories, and boom, because we had such a run with you, we gotta, you know, there's a time when you gotta move away. I don't want to say their name because I don't want to embarrass them, but they'll probably know I'm talking about them. A friend of mine that does a talk show on another radio station. Back during the Casey Anthony trial, they were doing a lot of coverage and discussion of the Casey Anthony trial, which was a huge national story. Everyone was talking about it, and their show lit up like it had never lit up before, with phone calls and listeners, and it was pretty hot. And they had this, and then the Casey Anthony trial was over, and weeks later they were still talking about it after no one cared. And the reason is they had such a run with Casey Anthony. Every little story that involved Casey Anthony out after that became a daily discussion, weeks after anyone was interested in hearing anything about it. It took a while, you know, so there's a lot of that going on with the media. The media are having incredibly high ratings, okay, incredibly high ratings, and a lot of it is they have high ratings talking about this, and and what happens is, and again, I'm not saying that they don't hate Trump and they're trying to destroy his presidency and all that. I'm not saying they're not, but more of it is it's become a habit what they're doing. They can't move beyond coronavirus. It's very difficult for them to move on it because they've had such a good run with it. You know, and there were many other examples of when that's happened with us here. It's hard, sometimes it's hard to bring up things that are not related to something. You've got to move on. You've got to move on, and the media can't do that through their hatred of Trump, and also they want to keep the rating success going. Oh, by the way, I'm going to throw this out because I did talk about this a month or so ago. Took a call or two on it, and Steve was asking me about this yesterday, and I want to throw this out for comments on this. Steve was asking me about Tiger King. Steve does not have Netflix, and he was asking me about Tiger King because Tiger King has asked Trump for a pardon again. Is this the second time he's asked for a pardon? And it amazes me how many of these news people keep referencing Tiger King. Are they doing commercials for Netflix? And I tried to watch Tiger King, and I'll throw this out to you guys, because Steve says it, and I was telling Steve the backstory of Tiger King, and it sounds fascinating until you watch the show. Have any of you watched Tiger King and really enjoyed it? I thought, and I have not gotten, I am about halfway through it. And I've been halfway through it for a long time. I don't know what number episode I'm on. I'm on the number episode when he's lost his tiger zoo to that other weird guy, and he found out that there was surveillance being done by the feds on him. Okay, that's where I got. I find Tiger King to be the worst, most overhyped production in the history of the streaming services. When you hear the story and you tell about this crazy gay man who has his own tiger zoo and he was battling this woman who fed her husband to the tiger, it sounds very interesting. But it seems, and they're making a feature film with Nick Cage playing Tiger King. I find it boring, terminally boring, torturous to watch. And when it was first being talked about by everyone, a friend of my wife, you guys got to watch Tiger King. So we watched the first episode, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know? And so we talked to our friend, and oh, no. You got to get, when you get to, it's the third episode, and then it just, so we struggled, got through the second episode, which seemed like, it seemed like it was 8 hours long instead of 43 minutes. Oh, but the third episode is when everything, Tiger King is overrated. It's terminally boring. The story sounds very interesting. Don't understand when you tell the backstory, but the actual show is terminal. It's probably the most overhyped television series in the history of hyped up television series. And I'm really wondering, I have heard so many of the people on Fox talk about watching Tiger King. Are people watching Tiger King and saying they like it because they think they're supposed to like it? Is there like peer pressure about Tiger King? The other thing about Tiger King, I wonder all these news people, which are the ones that I see really pushing Tiger King, is this like product placement by Netflix? You know, and binge watching is awful. I mean, I have become a victim more times than I want to tell you of binge watching, okay? And with one exception, anytime I have binge watched a show, and I binge watch more television programs on streaming services than I want to tell you about. I mean, it's embarrassing. But except for one series that I binge watched, every one, when I get to the last episode and it's over, I feel like I have just wasted, depending on how many episodes there are, of my life. And I think about it, you know, and it might have taken me weeks to get through it, and I get like depressed after I binge watch. The only series, and people will laugh, the only series that I watched and binge watched in its entirety that I was satisfied at the end was the remake of Battlestar Galactica, and that was like 10 years ago. There was a new series I binge watched on Apple TV. Is it Her? What the one where they have the computer thing with the guy from Parks and Rec? And it seemed like such a fascinating thing, and I'm watching and I'm fascinated, and then I get to the last episode and it was like, what? Are you kidding me? This is what I've watched 8-10 episodes for? So anyway, Tiger King, I'll give you, you know what my review of Tiger King is? It sucks. Totally sucks. So anyway, Steve was asking me about it, so I'll let the phones open to this. I'll bring up some other issues, and I'm going to get to some audio sound bites with Kayleigh McEnany's mic drop press conference yesterday. But I would like to hear your thoughts on Tiger King. There are series that are worth... I'll tell you this. I've not seen the most recent season of Better Call Saul. Someone said I should binge Better Call Saul. I don't know about that. The only other series that I think had a good completion was, other than Galactica to binge watch, would be Lost. which had a conclusion that I thought was satisfying. And what was the other one? I was just speaking of better, Breaking Bad. So so Breaking Bad, the remake of Battlestar Galactica, and Lost are the only series that I have watched that at the end I was not depressed, because I'm like, this is it. In fact, last night was the season finale of The Masked Singer. And I get all into The Masked Singer. Masked Singer is awesome. Any of you guys watch The Masked Singer? It is, out of all the singing shows, it's the best show since season 1 of American Idol. It's really good. And then boom, what happens? I'm not going to reveal who it was, and I'm not going to spoil Masked Singer. But when they took off the mask of the final 3 people, I didn't even know who one of them was, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I've been watching this show for 4 months. And the person that won, I knew who they were on the first episode. So, Tiger King sucks. And I welcome your opinions on Tiger King. Because Steve was asking me. Steve's actually thinking about getting Netflix. Because you have to have Netflix to watch Tiger King. The only thing in Tiger King that surprised me is when I found out he was gay. I had no... But I guess it makes sense when you know he's gay, All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. Am I the only person that will admit that Tiger King sucks? 888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. I don't watch that much television. I know it sounds like I do, and when I typically watch television and binge, then I'll break, just because I don't want people to think I watch TV all the time, because I really don't. On the weekends, because of my weekday schedule, I still wake up about 3:34 in the morning, and no one else wakes up in the house, and things are closed at that early. I don't know what am I going to do at 4 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday. So that's when I do my binge watching until my wife gets up, and I'll get a lot of episodes in of something before she gets on. So Saturday and Sunday mornings early on, that's when I usually do my binge watching, just so you know. Don't want you guys to think I'm watching TV all the time, because I'm not. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back after this.
This is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more and may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and/or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale. Act now. Save 50% on reflective and/or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
Hurricane season is right around the corner, and the predictions are that the 2020 hurricane season will be busier than normal, with 16 named storms predicted, 8 turning into hurricanes, and 4 growing into major hurricanes. That's according to scientists at Colorado State University. That's 3 more named storms and hurricanes, and 2 more major hurricanes than they predicted at this time last year. Do you have the hurricane coverage you need and the coverage you want for your home, condominium,
well, I don't know why.
In case a hurricane hits, call
there's no one hidden.
I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
No one's hidden.
Debbie will
I blocked one
policy
person who
no
was
charge and make sure you have the coverage you want and the
chatting in a
coverage you
foreign
need. Once
language.
a hurricane hits, it's too late. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors right now. 954-753-8080.
I saw Jeff from Maine earlier.
753-8080.
Is he watching? Close it out and reopen.
Just search for it.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Oh, before I get to the sound bites, the news. You know, all these news people that are doing their broadcast from home. Come on, give me a break. And even the local news. And I'm a fan of the local. I have no gripes with the local news reporters. I usually watch WPTV, Channel 5, and Channel 29 in Palm Beach on the local news. And I was watching one of the anchor ladies. She was doing the news from her pool deck. I saw yesterday. You know, it's time to move back to the studios. And I'll tell you another thing. Peter Ducey. I like Peter Ducey. He's an all right. You guys like Peter Ducey, the kid? He covers Congress. His beat is Congress, and I've seen him doing his reporting from his apartment, which is a tiny apartment with no decorations around. I guess he's too busy working. He obviously doesn't have a live-in girlfriend, Peter Ducey, or there'd be I mean, it looks like no one lives there, right? And I've seen Peter Ducey. This is just one example. He's not alone. I'm just using Peter Ducey as an example because I've noticed it with him the worst. He's reporting on Capitol Hill for Fox News from his tiny little apartment with the microwave in the back. You see him he's got the microwave behind him where he sits all the time? What's the point of that? If you can cover Capitol Hill without leaving your one-bedroom little efficiency apartment with nothing in it but a microwave and a chair and some IKEA couch, what's the purpose of him generally? Why does he have to spend all day at Capitol Hill? If he's doing everything, there's nothing he's reported on from his little tiny efficiency apartment, Ducey, that he would have, he's not missed any stories. It almost serves no purpose, right? But the news media need to get back into the studio, stop this remote crap. You know, don't you guys agree that we've moved beyond people doing their shows at home, and particularly the local news? Because the local Florida news people, I saw one of the weather guys the other day doing his weather report from his pool in his backyard. Right? And I understand why they were doing that in the beginning when there was all this craziness, but it creates this sense of crisis that no longer, we have moved beyond that. You can go back to the studio. Do your social distancing if you want in the studio. The cameramen are more than 6 feet away from you. And a lot of these cameras, they don't even have real cameramen. A lot of the times it's all computerized and someone in the booth. And, you know, there's still people in the control rooms. The people that work together are not the on-air people. The people that are in close contact are the tech people, and the tech people are still in the control rooms at all the television networks and all the local TV stations. It's so absurd. So all of the television people, and this isn't just for the cable news, this is for the local news, get out of your homes and get back to the studio. We're in the studio every day here on the Steve Kane Show. Okay? Every day. We could do this remotely. We could, but we're here at the radio station each and every day. They can go back. It's stupid. Totally stupid. All right, let's go to the phone. 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio. Scott. Oh, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I thought that was you. I saw you on the caller ID there, actually, Scott. But I wasn't 100% sure because I cut it out of the corner of my eye. You know, I'm looking outside, Scott, and it's looks like it's going to be a sunny day, which means the hot weather. It's getting hotter every day. I was looking at the weather over the weekend. We're going to be hitting the 90s.
Yeah, Brian, the weather is starting to shift. The paradigm is starting to shift in the South Florida weather. We've been lucky. It's been really cool, unseasonably cool for this time of year, and it's about to change. And pretty soon, my phone's going to be ringing off the hook, and everyone's going to be help me. Give me that great deal, Scott, and it's going to be gone, Brian, because it's going to be so hot in those attics that we're going to have to charge them more. And I don't like charging them more. I actually make the same money when I give this deal as when I don't give the deal because we get the work done so quick and efficiently.
Yeah, well, let's slow down on that and clarify it, because the reason that Scott's prices go up during the hot times of the year is because his labor cost increased because the workers cannot be in the attic for as long as they can when it's cooler. So his profit margin is this. He's still making the same amount of money. His labor costs go up, and unfortunately, that's why his prices have to go up during the hot times of year.
Exactly what happens. I mean, literally a job that we can come and get done in 4 to 6 hours turns into a whole day, or it might turn into a day and a half because the guys they collapse from heat exhaustion and they just can't work up there. So we can't push them. They have to go up there, work for half an hour, and then everyone has to come.
And let me tell you, as the air conditioners are popping on more already because it is getting hotter in Florida each and every day. And this weekend we're going to get some really hot weather. A lot of people will immediately say, my air conditioner is not working properly, it's not blowing cold enough air, it's not cooling my house. That may be true, but before you go to the air conditioning expense, call Scott at Cut My Kilowatts, have him come out to your house and do an inspection. Because let me tell you, it's good chance it's not the AC. Probably you need to have this radiant barrier installed in your home, put your home in the shade, cool off your home from above, and your air conditioner, you'll see it'll start cooling off the rooms much better.
And listen, Brian, if their air conditioner works great at night, but not during the day, it's not their air conditioner. It's their insulation or it's a heat gain problem.
Wow.
Some people even have good insulation that can't overcome the heat gain because they have a shingle roof, or they had a tile roof before, and they put a shingle roof on to save money, and all of a sudden their air conditioner can't keep up because they've doubled the...
Now let me ask you this. Now, one area of the house that typically is not air conditioned but has an attic is the garage. With the radiant barrier, how will that help my unair conditioned garage?
It's Steve's garage like 8 years ago when I first came on your show, and his garage is still cool and crisp to this day, and Lori used to work out there.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up, and she was miserable, dying, and I was her biggest hero. I mean, and when I see Lori to this day, she gives me a hug and a kiss and thanks me for it.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great. That's one. Listen, that's amazing. Listen, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. This number rings directly to Scott's cell phone. You can even text him at this number. It's 954-939-1500, 954-939-1500. And that money you save on your electric bill, that's each and every month forever. So it's residual savings for the rest of the time you live in your home, because once that radiant barrier is installed and it's there forever. And it's also a great selling point if you look to move on and sell your home. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. We'll talk tomorrow, Friday. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Scott. That's correct. All right, have a good day, Scott. Again, we'll talk tomorrow, and we'll be right back after this.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question.
I gotta get after the break. I gotta get into Kaylee McEnany.
The laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now most people just blow you off, right? Almost immediately within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, and this and that. But I wanted to say, character, integrity. These are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. So, did you guys catch Kayleigh McEnany's press conference yesterday? I mean, she's so good. She is so damn good. Man, I wish she was the White House press spokesperson in the beginning instead of Spicer. But she has a natural gift that cannot be learned. And I'm really shocked at how great Kayleigh McEnany is. I am. And the reason that is I've seen her as a pundit for a couple of years on television, and she's always good, you know. But I've never seen her with these types of skills. I don't know where the hell she got them, but she is so good. And she has the ability to, no matter what they say, turn it to her advantage, move on to the next reporter. You know, I mean, the White House press conferences with Kayleigh McEnany are, well, it was an accident, which I'll fix. I can't do it now. With Kayleigh McEnany are must-see TV. And she had several mic drops yesterday. I got a couple here. I got 2 clips of her yesterday. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, this is the one when she's talking about Fredo and Governor Cuomo. Okay. They were asking her about hydroxychloroquine, which I call hydroxy because I keep mispronouncing it. So they're talking to her, because they're all upset about hydroxy. I don't know why. Is it because Trump's for it? Is it because it costs a nickel a dose? I don't know. A little bit of both, maybe. I'm not sure. They don't want it to end. There's all kinds of things with the media. And, she's not just great. She also has preparation that I've never seen from any White House press secretary before. She has all the answers with examples, which is really fascinating. So here she is. They're talking about hydroxy, and in particular Fredo over at CNN coming out against it. And he's supposed to be a voice of credibility, after all, since he had coronavirus, gave it to his wife and kid. He's supposed to be like an authority now, Fredo, the younger brother that's on CNN. And listen to Kayleigh McEnany with the discussion of hydroxy.
And you had Chris Cuomo saying the president knows that hydroxychloroquine is not supported by science. He knows it has been flagged by his own people, and he's using it. Well, Cuomo mocked the president for this. And interestingly, I found this out just before coming here. Hydroxychloroquine, of course, is an FDA-approved medication with a long-proven track record for safety. And it turns out that Chris Cuomo took a less safe version of it called quinine, which the FDA removed from the market in 2006 because of its serious side effects, including death. So really interesting to have that criticism of the president. On that note, to Chris Cuomo, I'd like to redirect him to his brother, the governor of New York, Governor Cuomo, who has several on-the-record statements about hydroxychloroquine, saying, I'm an optimist, I'm hopeful about the drug, and that's why we'll try it here in New York as soon as we get it. There has been anecdotal evidence that it's promising, that's why we're going ahead, and I have about 8 other quotes from Governor Cuomo, should any of you have interest in that.
Okay, boom. I mean, that's that. So Chris Cuomo Fredo took it, and he's criticizing it, and his brother's promoting it. She's prepared, and if you watch her, not only is she prepared with answers, she's got notes there that have examples of everything, which is pretty amazing. So then, of course, the big story yesterday, which of course we had first here on the Steve Kane Show, is the Susan Rice email. That Susan Rice email is the most it's just bizarre. She sends out an email about a meeting 2 weeks later on the final hours of Obama's presidency, totally clearing Trump and blaming the white guy for everything, Comey. And of course, this came up in the White House press briefing yesterday. And Kayleigh McEnany, listen to this. This is Kayleigh McEnany yesterday dealing with the Susan Rice part. Listen.
Brought up Susan Rice in that context, but I'm going to bring her up in another context that's equally as newsworthy, and that is The email that was declassified from Susan Rice on Inauguration Day, which is so peculiar. It set the scene. It's Inauguration Day. You're moving out of the White House. This is the most powerful building on planet Earth. Susan Rice is moving out, reflecting on her time here, and what is she doing? She's not packing her boxes. She's not being nostalgic about her time in the White House. What she's doing is writing an email where 3 times she writes that President Obama emphasized to conduct the investigation into Michael Flynn by the book, by the book, by the book.
Yeah, isn't that something? She said buy the book at least 3 times in the email on Inauguration Day. We were at Wings Plus for the Bye Bye Obama Bash. Remember that? Isn't that something? Clearing Trump. Let's go back. This is great.
Not packing her boxes. She's not being nostalgic about her time in the White House. What she's doing is writing an email where 3 times she writes that President Obama emphasized to conduct the investigation into Michael Flynn by the book, by the book, by the book. She writes it 3 times. As Shakespeare said, thou doth protest too much, Susan Rice. He didn't have the Susan Rice part in, add that in. 2, she was asked specifically about the unmasking of Michael Flynn after she discussed it on January 5th.
I didn't block anybody. I don't know what happened. I'll take a look after the show.
To herself on Inauguration Day. She was asked by
I can't do it while I'm on there.
journalist Judy Woodruff about this email, and about the unmasking of Michael Flynn, not the email, but the unmasking. She was asked specifically about Nunes's claim, specifically. So let me clarify, it was Nunes's claim. And she said, I know nothing about this, so it was a lie. And then Susan Rice, since no one brought it up to me, I will bring it up to you. Her attorney said that this was the first opportunity, 3 weeks after this Oval Office meeting, that she had to write this email memorializing her Oval Office meeting with Barack Obama discussing Michael Flynn. It was her first opportunity, she said. Interesting, because she had an opportunity in those 3 weeks on January 10th to do a passing of the baton event with none other than Michael Flynn, where she praised him success and talked about the great transition into the White House. And then on January 12th, she was able to participate in a story that published on that date in the lifestyle section of the Washington Post. So she never had time to write this email until Inauguration Day as she's rushing out the door, when in fact she had an opportunity to do all of those things. I'll leave that with you. Thank you for bringing up Susan Rice, not in the context that I wished, but for allowing me to share that with you.
And then she leaves. You know, and that's another thing she does, which is great. Okay? She's asked about Susan Rice. She says what she wants to say. It's alive, and boom, she leaves. And doesn't give them a chance to spin what she said. And if you notice, Trump isn't hanging around either. He's getting out there quick these days, too. You know, not giving the press. There's been, with Kayleigh McEnany, there's been a complete change in tone with the press conferences, not just for the press spokesperson, but for Trump as well. Cutting the press off, not arguing with the press, saying what you want to say, and get out. So they don't have the chance to keep asking and spinning during the press conference and wearing you down. And these are all mic drop moments. And that email of Susan Rice, where she clears Obama 3 times, blames everything on Comey on Inauguration Day, and emails it out and sends a copy to herself, making sure that it's in the archives so it can be retrieved at an appropriate time. What that tells me about that email yesterday, when we got the truth about that email yesterday, when I first heard it was sent out on Inauguration Day, I thought that was crazy. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at first. A caller called and told that to me in the first hour of yesterday's show, and I couldn't believe it, that she would send such an email out on the last day, on Inauguration Day. It wasn't even the day before, his last full day in office. It was Inauguration Day, only out. That email is as scandalous as some of those last-minute pardons of Bill Clinton, like the Mark Rich pardon and things like that. That email tells me, the Susan Rice email, that Obama was panicked. Because it did come out yesterday afternoon that Susan Rice did not write that email of her own free will, that she was asked to write the email by the Obama White House, which means Obama. So Obama and those at the top level around Obama were afraid that everything... Now remember, they've been doing a lot of spying. Cheryl Atkinson, who was the Fox News reporter? They've been doing spying on reporters. So this spying on Trump Tower, now we're finding out, according to the president, that Don Jr. and Ivanka were unmasked. See, didn't I tell you this? They weren't interested in Flynn. Flynn was just an excuse to get the FISA warrant. They were listening to everyone. And now we find out Don Jr.? Yeah, James Rosen at Fox they spied on. And not only that, they put surveillance on the phones at James Rosen's of Fox News, his parents' house. Remember? They went into Atkinson's computer, Cheryl Atkinson's computer. All right? And if you look at that email, it tells you that the Obama people were in a panic. Why were they in a panic? Because all their dirty dealings were going to come out. It finally sunk into them that they didn't have an establishment person that was going to come in and take over. See, if anyone else had become the president, not just Hillary, if it had been Ted Cruz or Little Marco or Jeb, if any of the establishment Republicans would have wanted to become the president, all that spying would never have been found out about, because the establishment's the establishment, whatever party they're in, it never would have been uncovered. And the last hours, they were in a panic that it was all going to be exposed. And the email is about blaming everything on Comey. And Comey has got to be flipping out right now with rage. He's got to be so enraged because he knows that Susan Rice doesn't do anything on her own. She knows that he was put up to that by Obama and top people in Obama's circle. Who those other people are, I don't know. Was it Brennan? Was it Clapper? I don't know. But Comey has some ideas because he worked with all of them. That email yesterday was a smoking gun memo, and probably out of everything that has come out, the Susan Rice email is probably the most damning because it shows you the utter panic that they were in right there. And that email is going to be what happens when you have a criminal conspiracy like this is when the crooks get divided. It's almost like if you were doing an interrogation, you have them in different interrogation rooms and you put them against one another. Yesterday, with that email, things changed in the mind of Comey. Because he's not part of that crew now in his own mind. So what will he do? Well, you know what they say. The one that gets the deal is the first one to make a deal. And Durham is talking to all these people. And with this new information, with the emails, that email totally clears Obama by Susan. And it's really the only documentation we have, throws Comey under the bus. And it's not credible because it's Inauguration Day, which really shows what was going on there. It's so obvious, how pathetic. If she would have done that email a day or two after the meeting, it still would look like what it is, but it wouldn't be so obvious. Sending that email to herself on Inauguration Day, it's beyond even debate that it is what it is. And man, that's when these rats are going to turn on each other, is when things like this happen. They're in a panic. And this story today that the president let us know about, that Don Jr. and Ivanka were unmasked too, oh my goodness. That one's shocking that came out to me. And that should actually be the main focus of discussions in the news media today, is the unmasking of the first son and the first daughter, or at least two of them, because there's 2 first daughters and there's 3 first sons. All right, listen, we'll take our break. It is, oh my goodness, 46 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll take a break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of 2 magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of 2. Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel power equipment, Benmore paint, Weber grills, Napoleon grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of green
thanks,
egg
Gregory.
products, all under one roof, all with people that are experienced.
The clock?
Show you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only 2 that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter
Happy
mile
now? There it
south
is.
of Hillsborough Boulevard, on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I was talking to a deputy earlier who was listening to the program online in his car, and I was telling him, if you are outside of the range of our radio stations, which you may be, people listen from all over, the best way to listen in your car, if you're out and about, is either on the iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn app. TuneIn, T-U-N-E-I-N, or the iHeartRadio app. Both are completely free. You can download on any mobile device, your iPads, your tablets, your phones, any phone, Android, iPhones, the iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn app, and search for us by our station call letters, WWNN, 2 W's, 2 N's. And if you listen on one of the apps and you're in your car, you can listen on Bluetooth and stereo. And yeah, I know, it's another way to listen. 2 W's, 2 N's, WWNN on the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn app, which is a completely free app that you can download on any device. All right, so yeah, so listen to this in the Daily Mail. Donald Trump, otherwise known as the president. They don't like to say the president or President Trump. They just don't want to give him the respect. But this is the headline in the Daily Mail. Donald Trump claims Ivanka, Don Jr., and Eric were all unmasked by U.S. intelligence. Claims? He's not claiming. He knows. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. He has access to whatever secrets the United States has. He has access to everything. He has the highest security clearance anyone can have. He's the Presidente de Estados Unidos. So it's not a claim. This isn't the host of The Apprentice who's running for president. This is the sitting president of the United States who has access to all the information. So when he says that Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka were unmasked too, he's not claiming that. He knows it for a fact. When they say claim, makes it sound as if it's some wild allegation. No, he has seen the reports. They may have even given him the transcripts. You know, if you remember that Russian lawyer lady, I've forgotten her name. Remember what I'm talking about? You know the lady that got into the room with Jared and Don Jr., and Don and Eric got the hell out of there pretending to get phone calls. Remember that? Russian lady. And many people suspected what that was about was, like with Flynn, it was an excuse to get surveillance warrants. They put her in there. They got her into this meeting through this guy from the UK that Don Jr. had known through the Trump organization, doing something somewhere. She got into a room. She was from Russia. At one time, she was a government prosecutor. Oh, he's meeting with a government official from Russia. Boom, we got the warrant. That's what that was all about. No question about it. Let me read this story here. And again, this isn't, he's not claiming. He knows. He has all the information now. It says here, President Donald Trump, at least they're calling him president finally. President Donald Trump complained that his 3 oldest children had been unmasked in intelligence reports on his inauguration day in 2017, leading to questions about why Don Jr., Eric Trump, and Ivanka would be featured in them in the first place. Complained? He's doing more than complaining. By the way, have you seen this story on television? The only place I've seen this story is in the Daily Mail. Trump made the charge about unmasking, which is when an anonymous name and an intelligence report is revealed, to Republican senators during a closed-door lunch on Capitol Hill Tuesday. New York Times did report this. Have you seen this on television? More than a mention. More than a mention. And by the way, Hannity, Tucker, and Laura don't count. I mean, during news time. It's unclear why Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka Trump would be listed in intelligence reports on the 2016 campaign. It's very clear to me. Opposition research for the Ready for Hillary campaign. That's what that is. President Trump has accused former President Barack Obama of spying on his 2016 campaign. Well, yeah, because they were. That's what this is about. The FBI was conducting a counterintelligence investigation into Trump's campaign to see if anyone in that effort was coordinating, wittingly or unwittingly, with Russian officials trying to influence the election. The president's grumbling, they're spying on the children of a presidential candidate. This isn't a complaint. This isn't grumbling. These are crimes, okay? The president's grumbling came as Republican senators... this is an interesting thing here. This inspector general that was fired from the State Department this week by the president, he was investigating whether or not the Secretary of State was misusing government resources by having an assistant walk his dog. Remember this? They're investigating the Secretary of State because he might have had an assistant walk his dog, and that's a misuse of government resources. But here you have the Ready for Hillary people using the FBI to do opposition research. The president's grumbling came as Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, one of Trump's closest allies on Capitol Hill, sent a letter to acting... Well, that's a problem. He's so wishy-washy. If Lindsey Graham is one of your closest allies and you're Trump, you're in trouble. Sent a letter to Acting Director of National Intelligence Richard Grenell and Attorney General William Barr Tuesday, asking for any inquiries made by Obama administration officials that would have unmasked major players associated with Trump's campaign in the weeks after Trump won the 2016 election. So now what we're finding out is they were listening in on the sons and daughter of the president-elect of the United States. Now, what was the point of that? What were they planning on doing with that? They were looking for information to blackmail the Trump family with, to try to get them under control. That's what they were doing, like with the dossier. Senator Graham's list includes Donald Trump, Don Jr., Ivanka, Jared Kushner, Lewandowski, Manafort, Steve Bannon, Kellyanne Conway, Sam Clovis. I'm not sure who Sam Clovis is. I don't remember that name. Chris Christie, Carter Page, Papadopoulos. By the way, this has also been reported in the Washington Post. Senator Graham chairs the Senate Judiciary Committee, which has jurisdiction over such matters. Let's see here. Officials who requested during the transition period Michael Flynn's name be unmasked includes Obama's UN ambassador, Samantha Power, Joe Biden, and Comey. Given the extensive number of requests for unmasking of General Flynn's name during this short time period, this is Graham talking, Lindsey Graham, it raises the question of whether these or other officials sought the unmasking of the identities of other individuals associated with the Trump campaign or the transition team. Trump has dubbed the unmasking Obamagate in an attempt to gin up controversy around the move. Unmasking is not illegal and is a common practice in administrations. Really? Unmasking political opponents? They impeached this president, they say, because he was asking the Ukrainian ambassador about Biden. right? That was the basis for the impeachment of President Trump. With all that going on, this was them, without question, using the intelligence resources. First, it started as opposition research for the Ready for Hillary campaign, and then when he was president-elect, that's when the coup began. And it was an attempt to find blackmail information to get Trump to play ball. That's what it was. It wasn't about Flynn. A lot of people, and I know a lot of conservatives, they didn't want Flynn to learn what they were doing with Russia. Flynn was just the excuse. And let me tell you, it is going to come out that they unmasked Eric, Don Jr., and Ivanka. And this is not typical. This is not legal. They don't all do this. But Obama did. And Obama's people did. All right, let's take our break for the top of the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take your calls after the break. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
9.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Any lab test now of
Steve Kane Show.
Coral Springs are the best labs to go to when you need quick and affordable lab
Steve Kane
work.
Show.
It's private
What's your name?
and accurate. Don't
Where you
go
calling
visit
from?
the
All right,
labs
hold on.
where you have to wait hours just to be seen.
Wow,
by
Beverly,
a
thank you.
lab tech. Everything at any lab test now
Thank you so
Boca
much.
and Coral Springs is first class. The labs are super clean. The techs highly skilled and professional. Plus their prices are the lowest you will find. Guaranteed. If your time is valuable, and I know it is, you cannot wait around to get your lab work. Any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs are the places you need to go. You will be seen quickly, with no appointment, no doctor's order or prescription necessary, in and out in 15 minutes or less. And they're always friendly and courteous. When you go to any lab test now at Boca and Coral Springs, you are putting your healthcare in your own hands. You are in control. They have every test you need, whether it's a blood test, urine test, drug test, STD test, or any other lab test. Any lab test now at Boca and Coral Springs have you covered. Any lab test now at Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto and Hillsborough, on the east side of State Road 7. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust in 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information to my sister. Now, you know, most people just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He's very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talking about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with all of them. They all have.
She should update that book with some new chapters and re-release it.
Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Steve's doing fine. Steve's
You are
doing fine.
listening to South Florida's longest running
I just saw his
radio
car
show,
outside, so-
The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial.
All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. If you're just tuning in, shame on you. Show starts at 6 a.m. live, people, and you've missed a lot. But right before the top of the hour break, the president has shared with us classified information, which he is allowed to do. The president can declassify anything he wants. The president could take a camera crew to Area 51 if he wanted to today, and it would be legal and allowed. He can declassify anything. The president has told us that Eric, Don Jr., and Ivanka were all unmasked as well. So very, very big story here. Let's go to our phones. 888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. And let's first go to Nick in Baltimore, Maryland. Hey, Nick.
Hey, good morning, Brian.
What's the lockdown situation like in Baltimore?
Still going on. In fact, the stupid mayor over up here is locking the whole city down until August 31st.
Wow.
We are in what's called Baltimore County, which is actually where all the population is shifted, they're trying to close it until July.
Wow. July 8th. You know what I wonder about Baltimore? You know, back in Freddie Gray's neighborhood, does the local Democrats, does their shutdown order include the street drug dealers? Or are they excluded?
No, they're roaming free.
Oh yeah, okay. So if you're selling crack or you know, oxy or anything, that's okay. It's just like the law-abiding business owners are shut down. Yeah.
Yeah, and the murders continue too.
Really?
Law-abiding citizens, and there are law-abiding citizens. You know.
Are you telling me that the murderers are not adhering to the strict stay-at-home orders in Baltimore? Come on.
No, they're not.
Wow.
They're not. And it's the law-abiding citizens that are imprisoned in their homes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So.
You know, I wanted to address what you're talking about here. And you have to, and I know you know this, the wall, remember a few months ago they were talking about how the walls are closing in on Trump?
Yeah.
Now the walls are closing in on Obama and crew. And you know, whether Obama's prosecuted or not, it remains to be seen. But I think what's going to happen is his value will be diminished as a former president. That's number one, because he's being destroyed. And a lot of the people around him that overreacted and did all this, and now with this latest thing that they spied on Ivanka and Jared, Don Jr., you know, Don Jr. was forced to appear before that Senate committee, the House.
That's right. And Eric, too. Eric testified, too.
Eric, yeah, twice. Wasn't it twice that Don went up there?
Yeah.
It's just the persecution. And I see this on Facebook, but the other thing I see on Facebook, Brian, is I'm getting a lot of Trump people. And I'm seeing a lot of people come in, and they're really fed up.
Yeah, they are. They are really fed up. They are really fed up. And you know, when you look at what's going on, like I was asking you about the situation in Baltimore, you know, with the shutdown. Another Democrat state, Democrat town, Democrat counties, those are the ones that are shut down. Anything that is not operating because of this, which is causing the economy not to rebound, no one blames Trump. No one. They blame their local officials, which are Democrats.
They are so stupid. They think you know what this is all about. They want to keep this place shut down until November.
Yeah. Yeah.
They think that this will, like you said, they want to create negativity for Trump. But it's going to backfire on the Democrats because, you know, they always overstep their bounds. And then Trump, who doesn't care, I mean, he's going to really pour it on them. He's a fighter. They're not used to that. Like you said, few minutes ago, he said they were trying to blackmail him. They were trying to get him to knuckle under. That's not going to happen with Donald Trump.
Well, you know what I'm interested in is, I would imagine some of these players that we're talking about have copies somewhere of the transcripts from the surveillance, including on Eric, Jared, Ivanka, and Don Jr. These are going to come out, but the problem is the media and the Democrats will justify. Yeah, they should have been. Don Jr. met with that Russian lady lawyer. They should have been listening in on them. They'll never see the truth. I don't think I really believe, Nick, that who do you think's really gonna go to jail here? Who?
I think Peter Strzok.
Low level.
I think Brennan's in trouble.
Jail. You mean jail? I'm talking about jail. I mean a conviction that lands them in jail.
Well, it's a difference of what I hope.
Well, yeah. What's going to be reality? Reality
is they're going to cut deals, and I don't think anybody's really going to go. I don't think anybody who really did this.
No one. I don't even think Peter Strzok is going to go away, and the reason is because they all know too much. They all know too much, and Peter Strzok was involved in the Hillary email scandal. So, and he seems to be a pretty a sharp, cunning guy. I bet like this email, the Susan Rice email, I think is the most devastating document to come out because it shows the panic they were in to clear Obama. They blame everything on Comey. I bet you Peter Strzok has copies of things on all these people, including Hillary Clinton, as security. Peter Strzok doesn't seem like the kind of guy that doesn't have an insurance policy, and that means copies of some of these things.
Well, what I'm curious about is you haven't heard anything about Bruce or Nellie Orr.
Nothing. And Bruce and Nellie Orr, One American News about 2 years ago had an incredible series on Bruce and Nellie Orr. Okay, Nellie Orr, the wife of Bruce Orr. Bruce Orr is the Asian guy you sometimes see. She had a shortwave radio that she was communicating with someone with. And what some security experts said is that a lot of the spy operations today use shortwave because U.S. intelligence no longer monitors shortwave. Everything's internet-based now. So shortwave is a way that people... And no one knows who Nellie Orr was talking to on the shortwave radio. But I'm telling you, none of these people are going to go to jail. The Susan Rice email that came out yesterday, when I first heard that was sent out on Inauguration Day, I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And what what McEnany said yesterday, 3 times in the email, she says, Obama's told Comey, buy the book. Do it by the book. Make sure it's by the book. She threw Comey under the bus, the white guy. And the by the book, it's almost like a code. Like, I'm doing this against my will. That's why I'm overusing this phrase. I don't even think Susan Rice wrote the email. I think she might have typed it up on her computer, but it was being read to her what to type by someone. Well, no. I think the fact that she said buy the book 3 times in a short email shows you that it wasn't something she just wrote of her recollection of the meeting. It was something that was transcribed to her to write. And the fact that it was Inauguration Day. I mean, think about it. Steve and I were sitting at Wings Plus. It was our Bye Bye Bama Bash. And Susan Rice is sending that email out. And she emailed it to herself to make sure it was in the National Archives. It was an insurance policy in case the you-know-what hit the fan, and Comey's getting blamed for everything. It clears Obama and says in the email that Obama 3 times told Comey, do everything by the book. By the book. Make sure it's by the book, Comey. And, of course, Comey has his own book. So, I find that, and Comey... I don't care if Comey's tweeted or Comey's got to be flipping out with rage right now. He's got to feel so angry He's a vindictive man. And now he knows that he's not part of the crew, the Obama crew. He has no power, and Durham and he's pissed. What Comey, you know what Comey does when he's pissed off? He's done it before. What do you know? What does J. Edgar Comey do when he gets pissed off, Nick? Well, he does something. He leaks things to the press. So this email discussion is going to get worse and worse over the next week, and at some point, Comey, if he hasn't done it already, will leak something about Obama or Susan Rice or someone else in the crew of conspirators. And this, you've got what the email being revealed did was, and this might be part of Durham and Barr's tactic, it's putting the conspirators against one another. It's dividing up a very loyal team that were involved in a very complex, illegal conspiracy spying on not only the president-elect of the United States, but his children.
Let's go back to what Barr said the other day. I believe that was a diversion to, throw up some smoke there.
Yeah. They do that often. When a prosecutor says, oh, no charges, no nothing, you're talking about Obama, but that's oftentimes a smokescreen so people let their guard down. And Barr says that, and the next day, the Susan Rice email comes out, something's going on here. And it's, Catherine Herridge, who the media are attacking because she's done something that a Washington reporter hasn't done since Woodward and Bernstein. She broke news. And the media are attacking Catherine Herridge. You're not supposed to break news, Catherine Herridge. You broke some news. Catherine Herridge is with CBS News, and she didn't go to air with that without CBS News' approval. Okay, so there's and I find it interesting that it went through CBS and not one of the other news sources with Catherine Herridge. So there's something going on here, and I think Catherine Herridge. Catherine Herridge, I remember her on Fox. She's new at CBS. She's an old-fashioned reporter who, when she says she has a source, it's true. A source is not her or her boyfriend or some other reporter or Wikipedia. She has real sources. And the powers that be are using Catherine Herridge to get the story out in a credible news organization, which is one of the networks, CBS News. All right, Nick, I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. All right, it's time for our quarter after break. Steve's joining us, of course, the Steve Kane Show, of course. You are all welcome to call in, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Some great calls this week. Just the phones have been on fire with great calls, new people we haven't heard from in a while. And, with this new studio, we have many more phone lines than we had before. And I think that's what it is. I think a lot of times people would call, they get a busy signal, couldn't get through because we only had a handful of lines. Now we have so many lines, people are calling, and it's great to hear from all of you. You are all very, very welcome to the program. Now, before we break, I got to tell you, I was over at Friendly Tire the other day in Margate, and he had a stack of these humongous new tires, and there were 4 of them, so I knew it was a set, and I'd never quite seen tires like this before, and I said, what are these tires for, Mike? And he said it's for a Ford F-150. And a listener called in there. He said I gave him the quote, and he rushed right over here immediately to get the tires because he knew what a great deal it was. So the reason I tell you that, if you have specialty tires or you have a big truck, whether it's your private vehicle or a commercial vehicle, tires can be very expensive. And Mike over at Friendly Tire, he can help you on your commercial vehicles, your oversized four-wheel drive tires, your truck tires. He can help you and get you great deals on all of those as well. So give Mike a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. And I have noticed that there are more and more of you over there going with your commercial vehicles. And that's great, and you should, because you're getting huge deals on tires at Friendly Tire on your trucks and your commercial vehicles and your specialty tires as well. All right, listen, we'll take our break. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take a break and be back.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM,
Yeah, I'll
103.9
set 'em up. I just
FM,
didn't
and
set it up.
AM 1470.
I'll do it. Just wait, I'll do it.
WNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Steve Kane. I'm here chatting with
Steve
Dr.
Kane Show.
Troy Lemaski, my personal chiropractor. Dr. Troy, how are you today?
Doing well, Steve.
Chiropractic is an art. All the nerves in your body go through your spine. If your spine's out of line, the nerves get pinched, and of course you're going to have all kinds of symptoms and all kinds of pain as a result of that. And until you get that spine realigned, you're going to be in pain.
100% correct. If you have a joint, especially in your back, that's stuck, that's not moving properly, it will put pressure not only possibly on nerves, but more of the time on soft tissue structures such as the ligaments, the muscles, and it will create pressure. There are nerves within the joint called mechanoreceptors, and it will affect the actual nerves that are in the joint. Pinched nerves are very common, and they do come from spinal misalignment, but not everybody that has a problem has a pinched nerve.
I've been seeing you for a relatively short period of time, and you have the healing touch, I'll tell you that. When I walk out of your office,
I've already go back. I got some calls too.
I know you take great care of everybody, but I know you're going to go that extra mile for our wonderful Steve Kane listeners. Doctor, give them the number of the office where they can make an appointment.
It's Coast Chiropractic Injury and Wellness Center, and the phone number is 954-463-3036. 954-463-3036. We're located in East Fort Lauderdale. We're just one block east of US 1 and Oakland Park Boulevard, right off Middle River Drive. The address is 2510 East Oakland Park Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale.
Dr. Troy Lemaski, a great healer. Make an appointment today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WNN.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You listen to the Steve Kane Show. Steve joining us. I just want to add something about Dr. Troy Lemaski. He is the brother of Dr. Janae Lemaski. She's the therapist. He's the chiropractor. And about two and a half months ago, Steve took me over to Dr. Troy. I have given up on chiropractors, honestly. I used to go to chiropractors religiously for all kinds of pains. And the last few chiropractors I went to, not only did it not help, I felt beaten up after and bruised because I felt in pain afterwards. And I talked to them about this, and they said, oh, no, you haven't had an adjustment in a while. And I had severe lower back pain where I could not even stand up straight. And those of you that watch on the video feeds, I talked about this off the air. I didn't even get out of the chair. We were at the other studio. I didn't get up for the 3 hours of the show. And even then, it was tough at the end to get up out of my chair. I was in so much pain. I was walking around a hunchback. I went over to Dr. Troy. Steve took me over there. Dr. Troy said, what's your problem? I told him. He says, let me give you an adjustment. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Instantly, pain gone. I got right off the table, stood up straight. And let me tell you something. He is gentle. It was completely painless. During and after. And I told him what I told you. I said, I haven't gone to a chiropractor in 10 years. Last couple guys, I felt beaten up and bruised. And Dr. Troy told me, he says, a lot of guys don't know how to adjust, so they make it up with brute strength to make the patient feel as if something's been done. Completely painless. And here I am over 2 months later, the pain has not returned. It's a miracle. And my posture is perfect now, too. Just share his number real quick, 954-463-3036. 954-463-3036. Dr. Troy Lemaski.
On the website.
SteveKaneShow.com. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome, Steve. Welcome. Lots
Very
happening.
Nice to be here as
Yeah.
we get ready for this big holiday weekend.
Oh, we're off on Monday. For those that are wondering, there'll be a best of show on Monday.
The only
Memorial
thing I
Day.
don't like about Memorial long weekend like this, they're not likely to break exciting stuff over a holiday weekend.
Well, usually the deadliest day of the year, holiday-wise, is the Memorial Day holidays because it's always on a Monday. It's always a weekend. And now with bars closed across America, there'll be fewer deaths over Memorial Day. So that's a good thing. But, I remember we used to work on Memorial Day, okay? And we stopped doing this a couple years ago for two reasons. It's a holiday that everybody takes, and I feel like a lot of these other shows around. I feel like no one's listening on Memorial Day, quite honestly, and it's people are hungover. But when I would come in the morning, I'm driving in around 5. The drunks are still out on the road, and I saw this one guy. This was a few years ago. I was driving to the old studio in Coral Springs, and there was a guy passed out. He was alive because I saw him moving. He was passed out, and he had a light pole on top of his car. And he had hit this light pole a minute, 2 minutes before I came by, and the police and everything were arriving, and and all of that. And I thought, man, if I was 2 minutes early, if I wouldn't have stopped off for gas, I would have been within shot of this guy in his accident. And that was it for me. And a couple of times on Memorial Day, I would drive by an intersection 5:30 in the morning, and there would be somebody asleep at the light. They fell asleep when the light was red.
So you don't drive on Memorial Day?
It's not safe to drive on Memorial Day before 11 or 12 in the morning, afternoon, because the drunks, they are out till like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning easily. But the bars are closed this year. But it could be worse because people would just go to friends' houses and drink.
I missed the first hour of the show.
Best hour on radio.
Well, that's why I'm trying to catch up here. Did you do the thing about Cuomo?
I did spend 90 minutes doing that, yes, about the Cuomo blaming Trump for his...
Oh, he looks slimy doing that.
20% of deaths nationwide from coronavirus are nursing home related. And Cuomo ordered... Cuomo, to free up hospital beds that they didn't need, sent seniors to nursing homes that were in hospital beds, and some of them got sick and died.
Well, how did he figure to blame it on...
He said we were just following following CDC guidelines from the Trump administration.
What guideline was that? Did he quote the guideline?
No, he just said we were doing what we were told, even though last week he was saying, I'm the governor and the White House doesn't tell me what to do.
You think he's going to get away with this?
Oh yeah, he'll be elected for the rest of his life in New York. When he's done with his governorship, he'll be a senator. Yeah, of course he'll get away. He's not going to be the president now, though. His presidential dreams, this will sink. Yeah. His presidential hopes are over and not only that, when
has Trump, by the way, has Trump responded?
Not that I know of. If he has, let me know.
It's not like him to.
Well, it just happened.
Let someone get away with that.
Give him some time. Well, let's take some calls. You're on the radio. Oh. I guess the Memorial Day drinking has begun Thursday, before Memorial Day. Instead of being... Listen, Al, stop trying to be cute and funny. You have no talent. Just say what you want to say.
Speed Burgers, who also is one of these small businesses that did apply for these SBA loans, special SBA loans.
Who are you talking about? Pete? Who the hell was Pete?
This is what, Al, enough. This is what Al's doing. Al's trying to get a free meal somewhere by getting them a plug on the radio. I think. It's what it sounds like to me. So he's trying to put an owner of listen, for hamburgers on the Steve Kane Show, you go to Wings Plus. That's where we go for hamburgers on the Steve Kane Show, not Pete's Dragon or whoever that was. I don't know who he got back there. What a weirdo.
Sure.
There are a lot of strange people I have met that are listeners of radio. But out of all of them, Liberal Al is the strangest of all. He's not the most dysfunctional. There are I've met more dysfunctional people.
He's the most obnoxious.
He's just strange. Here he is out on the street at some restaurant trying to trade out advertisement for food. By the way, we don't even do that. We pay at Wings Plus. The prices are so low, and the food and the portions are so huge. It's hardly paying, but no, we pay. We don't do trade at Wings Plus. We pay. But he's doing trade. I've heard of radio people doing trade, but I've never heard of callers trying to do trade. That's a new one.
Selling a station that he's not even connected with.
No, he's out there selling spots for himself. He's a strange guy.
Strange is kind.
Yeah. Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? Listen, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we get back, we'll be talking with Richard Pearl, and then we'll try, after Al's call, to try to make this into a radio show again, because he really derailed us like that train outside's on the rails. We're off the rails.
I think we've got to take some action with him. I can't see putting up with him for another year.
Well, the thing is with Al, There was a time when he used to be a decent caller, but he has not made a call that was worthwhile. And I can't remember the last time. I cannot remember the last time. All right, listen, we'll take our break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Steve, of course, here. We'll take that break for the bottom of the hour and be right back after this.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs are the best labs to go to when you need quick and affordable lab
Steve Kane
work.
Show.
It's private and accurate. Don't go to those other labs where you have to wait hours just to be seen by an
You're gonna,
unpaid
all right,
doctor.
bye,
Everything
bye,
at
Al,
lab tests
bye,
now
Al,
at
bye,
Boca
Al.
and Coral Springs is first class. The labs are super clean. The techs highly skilled and professional. Plus their prices are the lowest you will find. Guaranteed. If your time is valuable, and I know it is, you cannot wait around to get your lab work. Any lab test now at Boca
Pretty
and
bad.
Coral Springs
It's pretty
are
bad.
places you need to go. You will be seen quickly with no appointment, no doctor's order or prescription necessary. In and out in 15 minutes or less. And they're always friendly and courteous. When you go to any lab test now at Boca and Coral Springs, you are putting your health care in your own hands. You are in control. They have every test you need, whether it's a blood
Hey there.
test, urine test, drug test,
Steve
STD
Kane Show.
test, or any other lab test. Any lab test now at Boca and Coral
Al,
Springs.
I'm sure you're gonna get banned in like 6 seconds. I'm telling you. Steve Kane Show.
And Hillsborough on the east side of State Road 7.
He gets worse every
on
call.
the southeast corner
He's
of
in
University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now at Boca at 561-237-5009.
All right, Richard Pearl's on the
Any
line.
lab test now at Coral Springs, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to
Richard
benefits
Pearl.
that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
And now it's time for day. Excellent.
You know, and I'll tell you, Richard Pearl, Dershowitz said that it is constitutional to require us to take vaccines, that we're required to take vaccines that the government say we. I was shocked that Dershowitz said that. Well, yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, it just goes to show that you really know what you're talking about. And we are so fortunate here on the Steve Kane Show to get this little window of time with you each and every day. For those who would like to stop by and talk at greater length with you, tell them where you are and what your hours are. Yeah. Yeah, it's all politics, and everything you've said from the start is correct. Okay, well, Richard, good talking to you, and have a good weekend, and we'll
Talk tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we are weekend tomorrow. Make sure you go over your weekend hours tomorrow on the show. Okay, take care. All right, Richard Pearl. You know, it's a little unclear in the story if it's happening today or tomorrow, but Michael Cohen's getting out of jail, the president's attorney. They say he's got a book ready for publication. And
He's a sleaze. I don't like him.
No.
No use for him.
Well, this is what I'm wanting. He's going home to finish out his sentence at home because the coronavirus. They say he's got a book ready, so he'll be finishing up. He's a little more than a year.
What does this have to do with the coronavirus?
They're emptying out the prisons because of the coronavirus, and because of that, he's getting out to finish his sentence at home. He's being furloughed at home. He has a book ready. He's getting out either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure which day. It was vague in the story. And, you know, he's going to be the new John Dean. John Dean has been the big pundit. Every time there's a Republican president, they bring out John Dean, and John Dean's getting a little old and tired. He's going to be... We're going to see Michael Cohen as a Republican-hating pundit for the rest of our lives on television. But what I'm wondering is, can he do that while he's under house arrest? Can he call in and be a pundit on CNN during house arrest?
We don't know the terms of his release.
Well, I'm asking if anybody out there knows if there's been some details released, because there's a big story coming out today that Michael Cohen's getting out of prison. And the mainstream media are very excited about this because there's now angling, he may have already made a deal. And I would say he'll probably end up on CNN. He'll be like one of their main political pundits. Michael Cohen. Yeah.
Just what we need.
All right. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. You know, first of all, I'd like to say, Richard Pearl, smart guy. I'll be going to get my vitamins over there from now on.
Well, that means you're a smart guy, Doug. Okay.
There's going to be more people dying from other diseases because not going to the hospital than Wuhan. Well, unfortunately, my neighbor was one of them. When he started really feeling bad, didn't want to go to the hospital. Sure enough, about 2 hours later, gets a heart attack, calls 911, and by the time they got there, he's dead.
Oh my goodness. Well, I've driven by the hospital in my neighborhood a couple times just to see what's going on, and it's a ghost town. They have nurse out front and all the gear, but she's sitting there by herself. You know, and you're right. People would normally go to a hospital for all kinds of things that they're not doing.
Based on what I'm seeing, the latest stuff that I'm hearing as far as the corona, it's almost non-existent in Florida.
Yeah, but people are afraid of the ERs.
Really destroyed it.
People are afraid to go to the ERs. You know, nationwide. And yeah, Dr. Siegel on Fox has been talking about that for weeks, that there's a lot of things people would go to the hospital for, they're not.
Dr. Siegel has no credibility with me
Why?
at all.
He seems all right.
Just to recall, this happened about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was watching. Who the heck show was he on? He was. Oh no, it wasn't him. It was one of the guys that we respect. The guy
Hannity.
Talked about how Siegel's father had been very, very sick, and they'd given him the new medication.
Yes.
And it had saved his life.
I want to say Tucker Carlson.
He wouldn't talk about it on the air.
It seems like Tucker Carlson. I think that I may be wrong, but it seemed like Tucker. Wow.
And then the next
Well, wait,
day,
no, wait a minute. No. I mean, the little defense, because now I remember this. Siegel was on Tucker Carlson and said it on the air that his dad took it. But then he wouldn't say it again. Like they got to him and he never mentioned it again.
Well,
especially during all this controversy.
One of the other guests had brought him and confronted him with it on Tucker's show.
But he did say that
And then when he went back on
it's like they got to him and said, don't bring it up again.
On the show, they said, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
It saved his father's life, and he doesn't want to share that
information I'll tell you,
with other people. I mean, what kind of person does that?
There was a big controversy earlier this week when Trump announced he was taking it. Have you heard Siegel talk about it since
no,
Trump?
I'm telling you, it stinks. The whole setup stinks.
But I noticed that I think that by Trump taking his actually chloroquine, it relieved his stress from thinking he might get it, and maybe the economy's doing a little bit better now. So I see him looking a lot better now without that stress on his face. Maybe it's actually chloroquine. I don't know, but I certainly think.
I knew he was taking it, and I told you because
they're all taking it.
Pence says he's not. Pence said he's not. I was surprised.
I could understand the reasons for that.
Well, I don't think Pence would lie.
No, but I can understand the reasons that he wouldn't take it if the president was taking it.
I wants to see if
they don't looming in the background. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose two. That's all we need.
Yeah, she's next in line. Could you imagine?
It's frightening.
Did you see? Hey, Doug, did you see Governor DeSantis yesterday with the press with Pence? Did you see it, Steve?
No.
Oh, Ron DeSantis is Donald Trump's new apprentice. He's being groomed by Trump.
He certainly came out smelling like a rose on this.
Oh yeah, he is being groomed by Trump. I said this even when he was running for governor. He's being groomed by Trump to be president or vice president. The only problem he has going for him against him is he looks fat. He's not. Trump talked about this at the rally I was at. He brought Governor DeSantis up on stage, and he says, I was telling Ron he needs to lose some weight, that he looks pudgy in the suits. And then he said, I saw him, he took his shirt off. He is ripped. He is all muscle. And Trump was talking about how impressed he was at his physique. And if he looks like Rambo with his shirt off. And in the suit, he looks pudgy. So he's got to find, I don't know, when Italy opens back up,
he's got to find a better tailor.
Get an Italian tailor when Italy opens back up, because anytime I see the Italian tourists down here, they all look fantastic because they have the best clothes. He needs to get better suits. But yesterday, he was with Pence DeSantis, and they were going after him on reopening Florida. And let me play this clip. This is Governor DeSantis. Standing next to him in silence is Pence. Maybe after Trump's second term, maybe Pence will come back and be VP again with DeSantis at the top of the ticket. Listen to this. This is yesterday.
In fact, Dr. Birx has talked multiple times about how Florida has the absolute best data. So any insinuation otherwise is just typical part
now listen to where he goes.
Of trying to be spun.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is that because you got a lot of people in your profession who waxed poetically for weeks and weeks about how Florida was going to be just like New York. Wait 2 weeks, Florida's going to be next. Just like Italy, wait 2 weeks. Well, hell, we're 8 weeks away from that, and it hasn't happened. Not only do we have a lower death rate, well, we have way lower deaths generally, we have a lower death rate than the Acela Corridor, D.C., everyone up there. We have a lower death rate in the Midwest, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. But even in our region, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida has the lower death rate. And I was the #1 landing spot from tens of thousands of people being the #1
New Yorkers.
I state. So we've succeeded, and I think that people just don't want to recognize it because it challenges their narrative, it challenges their assumption. So they got to try to find a boogeyman. Maybe it's that there are black helicopters circling the Department of Health. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you.
Okay, and then there was another thing with DeSantis. I don't have this. Oh, he's spectacular. He's the new apprentice of Donald Trump. This, I don't have the clip of this, but I'll just tell you what happened. This was unbelievable. There was a story earlier this week. The woman that was in charge of Florida's online coronavirus portal that monitors infections and death throughout the state was fired. And the media went nuts with this. Oh, partisan. She claimed that they were asking her to fudge the data so the state could be reopened. Okay? And so DeSantis was asked about this, and he looked into her. He said she shouldn't have even been hired. He said she's got a revenge porn charge against her that's pending. And revenge porn is you know revenge porn?
No.
It's when usually the victim is a woman, and an ex-boyfriend or husband is the perpetrator. But in this case, it's the first case I've ever heard of a female with revenge porn. Revenge porn is, and it's highly illegal. You go to jail for revenge porn. It's when you have, you've had sex with someone, you've recorded it with their consent, you break up, and then you release it and post it online to embarrass them. And I don't know what the governor didn't get into the details of the case, but he said she's got a revenge porn charge against her, and she should have been fired a long time ago. So the revenge porn part didn't make the news because they're trying to prop her up as someone, because her claim is that DeSantis' administration was asking her to fudge the numbers so they could reopen Florida. But yeah, so that was another one that backfired on the... DeSantis is great. He just needs better suits.
Well,
I mean, I buy my suits at the Men's Warehouse, but I'm not the governor, you know?
that's what we need. We need a good sponsor
For suits?
For suits.
Where would I wear them other than our cruise?
The cruise.
I did buy new clothes for the cruise. But believe it or not, I have my one suit that I bought for the first one that I bring on every one that I'll bring on this one. But then I bought some new jackets, some new blazers that are pretty cool. Actually, I got a good deal on them at Sawgrass Mills, Bells, or whatever that store is. I don't know. I don't have the Italian tailors, but DeSantis, if he gets his suits straightened out, gets some better tailored suits, he'll go far because he's the best. I love DeSantis. Could you imagine if we had Gillum as our governor? We'd be under complete lockdown.
It might have been fun though.
No, it wouldn't have been. All businesses would be shut down. They would not be fun.
Well, I mean,
the whole state would be shut down.
I would imagine he would create a lot of problems.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, let's take our break. We'll be back with the Gold Report right after this.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Denture wearers, are messy adhesives ruining the taste of your food? Is it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Are you always worried that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots? You are not alone. These are
I've got the invoice.
that can be solved.
I've got the invoice for you in my car. I'll give it to you and go downstairs.
Which one?
For Youngerman.
What about the other one?
The other one I'll give to you tomorrow. I put the wrong month on it. You're not going to go there today. You can't go there today. You got to wait till after the thing. You got to wait till after the thing tomorrow. We talked about that. I put June on it instead of May. Youngerman's for June. His is for May. Isn't it? Or is it for June? If it's for June, it's good to go. But I think...
June is when he
Yeah.
But at Brighton Dental Care, just $3,000.
You can't go until after the thing tomorrow.
That includes the 2 implants. You're doing that?
We're doing it together.
Live with confidence. You said you had a way to go with that.
Oh, you'll be here.
922-4633, 954.
What is it, the last 10 minutes?
922-4633, and online at BrightonDentalCare.com. Be sure to ask about special discounts for our military veterans.
The science behind the aging process is exploding. We have come to a point where we can take steps to significantly improve the health and function of our cells. Healthy cells means healthy tissue, means healthy organs, means a healthy body. And healthy bodies do better and live longer. That's right, folks, I said it. Live longer. Life expectancy is increasing in this country, and it is not a coincidence. With simple, safe, and effective therapies such as peptides, we can significantly...
Yeah, that's the second time this week you woke me up. And that's the second time this week you woke me up late at night.
That's bizarre.
Second time.
I thought it was morning.
Well, the first time it was 1:30 in the morning. This time it was 10:30, 10:45. I was fast asleep.
That's related to the illness.
535490. That's 561
All right, coming back, Youngerman.
5490, or visit our website at hormonetherapybocaratone.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for Dope.
Well, talk about exciting times. If you have been one of those Steve Kane listeners who has followed the precious metals reports for the past, let's see, William Youngerman has been doing them on the show for about 16 years, 17 years. He's been advising clients on trends and movements in the precious metals markets for over 50 years. And boy, it has gotten exciting lately. Let's put William on and find out how things are looking this morning. William, how's it going? Excellent. How much was the platinum again? I missed that. Wow.
Steve Kane Show. Thank you. Well, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do after the show tomorrow. I'm probably going to stop down there this morning and refresh my silver supply. Got to strike while the iron's hot. And those of you who've been following William through the years here on the Steve Kane Show, I hope you follow his advice as I have, because if you have, you're doing pretty well, I can tell you that. William, tell them about the fact if they have precious metals or antiques or watches. Father's Day still a couple days to go here. Great gifts for Dad on Father's Day. Tell them a little bit about the fact that you purchase precious metals as well as sell them. Well, it sounds like a great idea. William Youngerman, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road. That is in Boca, in the Bank of America building. William is on the first floor directly across the street from the bank.
You can reach him by phone, toll free, 1-800-327-5010, or go to that great museum quality website at williamyoungerman.com. William, good talking to you, and I'll probably see you later today. You take care, and we are back.
You know, I was just looking at, Little Richard died. You know,
Yes, yes.
I thought he died years ago. I had no idea Little Richard was still alive. Well, he's not alive now, but I had no idea he was alive as recently as however long ago that was. Oh, listen, we got to check in with attorney Barry Siegel. Barry Siegel, good morning.
Barry, are you there? I'm doing great. How about yourself? Getting ready
Steve
for
Kane Show.
a good Memorial Day weekend?
Hey, you'll be next, Chris. Hold on.
Exactly.
Don't
Get
see.
our estate planning set up, and thankfully we did. And then wait till the last minute or wait till it's too late.
Yeah.
Well, it's very simple. It doesn't even cost you anything. All you have to do is pick up your phone and call Barry toll free, set up that meeting, and he'll make sure that your documents are in order. Yes, they must be checked periodically to make sure that there haven't been changes that are not reflected. They don't want that to happen to you. So anyway, make that appointment calling toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. In fact, we got to make an appointment, Barry, because I've done this spot so many times. Every time I do it, I keep reminding myself that I haven't updated in a while. So I'll be giving you a ring next week. All right? Yeah. The number. You got the number there?
855-FLA-3782. 1-855-352-3782.
Have a good weekend, Barry, all right? You
All
take
right,
care.
all right, take care, take care. All right, let's go back to phones. Good morning, you're on the air.
3 years ago about these indictments and so forth.
Oh, I remember that call.
Yeah.
If they didn't roll, nothing was gonna happen. Until this date, that is all true. Now, the other thing of interest, in a town in Virginia, Thornton, Virginia, we had a sweep on the council seat, okay? 3 Republicans took over 3.
At a city council. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Tell me that story. Tell me that story. Give me hope.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, in Ukraine? In Ukraine? What does that... Which Biden, Hunter or Joe? The vice president.
Hold on, I'm all confused here. I thought you said this had to do with Pelosi.
Pelosi's son is on the board of Burisma, the company. And
I got you.
so what's going to happen? They're going to haul Biden in to be charged in Ukraine? Come on. Give me a break. That's crazy talk. Okay. All right. I mean, I want them. No, there's nothing to get excited. None of these people are going to jail. I mean, it's just, you got to accept that.
It's discouraging.
That's the way it is. None of these people ever go to jail. It's not going to, unless they're Republican. I know Comey's a Republican, but he was doing the work of the Democrats.
They're going to nail somebody around the Comey level. I think. I have a feeling in my bones.
You mean actually go to jail, do time?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, be charged. Yeah.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I just don't think it's gonna. I just don't see that happening.
When Barr made the announcement that they will be going after not the president and not the
Biden and Obama.
Biden and Obama were clear criminally, but that they would be seeking criminal charges. Just beneath that level.
I hope. I'll be very happy if that happens, but I just am not expecting it.
They got to get something because basically what the message that exists, if it ends like this, is that our legal system doesn't work.
It doesn't. Only Republicans go to jail. Now listen, tomorrow is Friday, so we are going to be here live tomorrow, but we will be off live Monday, just so people know. Memorial Day is Monday, tomorrow's Friday. We will have a best of show on Monday, back live Tuesday, but we will be here tomorrow, Friday, if people are asking. Our weekend does not start on Thursday, it starts on Friday around here. So we'll see you then. We're all out of time, and we'll be back tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
God bless America.
This is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing,
all right, guys, take care. Make sure you subscribe, guys.
People have been forced to neglect their